Hello. There I am.
All right, guys. Welcome to our third live streaming. I'm pretty new at this, and so I got my third guest ever. And we got how you doing, Noah? Good.
I'm
Doing
doing
all right?
great. Happy to be here. Happy to chat with you.
No. Thank you for being here, and thank
Of
you for
course.
accepting the invite.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny?
What's that?
I was gonna tell you earlier, but I forgot. I'm wearing a hat because of you, and now this is the first time I see you without a hat.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a hat right now. I set some of my hats to the side because I knew we were going
Uh-huh.
to talk about hats at some point. But I wanted to
Oh,
show
cool.
off my new mohawk, my new haircut
Yeah, nice.
for right now. But
I
yeah,
I
we'll definitely bust out the hats at some point for sure.
I know I saw you. I think I commented you were live in someone else's channel. I think
Yeah.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
and you had a hat, but like it was the first time I saw you. You know, like without the long hair because you had a long hair.
Yeah, I just got a haircut, and I'm always getting my haircut and changed and doing different things. So
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something like you caught it for a wedding or some social event or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Like how long do you have that long hair? Was it a while or?
I had been growing it out for at least 2 years. And my hair grows pretty fast in general. But I
Uh-huh.
never really just tried to let it go. So it was down pretty far, it was past my shoulders. But yeah, it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I was the best man in one of my friend's weddings. And
Oh, all
so
right.
the night before the wedding, I went and got it cut and then came to the wedding. I looked nice and clean and just for their wedding photos, I was like, you know what,
Uh-huh.
fine, I'll like look like a normal human being, I guess. Yeah, and then
Also,
this happened like like a week ago. I just asked my wife if she would give me a mohawk, and so she gave me one, and here I
nice.
am. So always looking different every time.
So you cut it before the night before the wedding. So
Yeah,
what about the wedding rehearsal? Do you have the long hair or
I
not
had the
really?
long hair for the wedding rehearsal, and then the next day I had short hair.
Short hair.
And the
All
guy
right.
officiating the wedding, he didn't even realize that I got my hair cut. Like I talked to him later, and he was like, "When did you get your hair cut?" And I was like, "Dude, you saw me yesterday. Like I literally had the long hair. I got it cut like last night." And he was like, "No, that's not true. That's not possible." So
That's funny.
yeah,
So yeah, so I was gonna say how I met you because I met you probably a year ago, maybe. I'm and I kind of met you by accident. It's kind of weird. Like I
yeah,
found you. Well, I found you. I don't know you. I don't want to say that I found you, or maybe you found me. This is weird
yeah. I mean,
because
social media, it goes both ways. You never know who followed who or saw whose video, and
no, but or maybe I found you. Well, this is what
yeah.
happened. I follow Jack uh, from
JC, yeah, Jack,
JC Custom Paints.
JC Custom Paints,
In,
yeah.
yeah, in the UK. So I was following him for some time,
Hmm.
and then I mean I didn't even know what he looked like because he
Yeah,
usually never posts pictures of him.
sure.
I mean because it makes sense. He's accounting for business.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I remember I was at work. It was a Saturday. So I
Hmm.
remember I was at work, and then I got a notification on Instagram that Jack was live.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see what he looks like. So I
Yeah,
click, and he was live, but because of you, because you had him,
yeah, yeah.
you had him as a guest.
Uh huh.
So that's how I found you actually. Because then after I chatted a little bit, or I did some comments in
Hmm.
one of the in that video.
Yeah,
I think something about hats or something like that I
yeah,
mentioned.
yeah.
And then I started following you that day. Later that day, I started following you on Instagram. And then, yeah, that was pretty
Rest
much
is
it.
history. That's yeah. No, I owe Jack so much, honestly. A quick plug for JCM Custom Paints on Instagram. For anyone watching, if you are into action figures or just art in general, JCM Custom Paints on Instagram is one of the best artists I know, and just one of the best people that I know. He and I have fostered a very fond just friendship through geeking out over comic books, movies, games, toys, all of that stuff. He is a stand-up individual. I love him with my whole heart. And yeah, I also owe my relationship with you to him, and I didn't even know that. So thank you again, Jack, for making this happen indirectly. But yeah, he's a great guy. Everyone go follow him. Give him some love.
Yeah, give him a follow. Give him a follow. He's great. He's an artist. He's a great painter, and
he's amazing.
I've been in touch with him through Instagram, like messages, but we haven't met yet. But yeah, he's great. He seems like a really nice guy. He replies my comments or questions like right away, like that DMs and stuff.
Yeah, and no, he's one of my favorite people. I can't speak more positively enough about him. He's one of the best.
Yeah, and then he shares like he shares like all the geekiness that we like, right?
Yeah.
And then he shares all like the movies, and he shares like bodybuilding too.
Bodybuilding, he's huge, man. He's freaking enormous. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like all these things that I have some sort of that things that I like, like things that I follow, that I'm a lot of interest that I have, and then you too with that, and I'm like, oh, so yeah, so it's funny because I didn't learn about the bodybuilding until he was talking to you on that live that you guys did. You guys have done like 2 or 3, or at least
I think we've gone live at least 2 times. I would go live with him anytime, any week, honestly. But yeah, I know he's been super busy with commissions lately and other things and job and everything. So I respect his time and stuff. But yeah, he's one of the good ones. He's into all the good stuff. You're super into fitness as well. I always see you posting, just your time going to the gym and getting the workouts in. I love that.
Oh yeah, I used to go more often.
Yeah, I need to get more. I don't know if it's confident about that. I know I go to the gym 6 days a week, but I've never posted any working out anything. But I want to just to, I think, just encourage. And I see lots of other toy people on Instagram that I follow and interact with, them posting their gym stuff. Not necessarily to show off or anything, but just I think is that sort of like, we're all in this together. We're all trying to better ourselves, and I love seeing other people do it. So I want to try at some point and maybe post just a workout post. I don't know, something like that. I just think it's really cool that you do it, Jack does it, and several other people do it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of started again. I used to go more before COVID.
Yeah, it was a lot easier.
Not only that, and I used to teach spinning classes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And all that was before COVID, and I was always one of the things is like I was using I would make my own playlists, right? And instead of buying CDs or whatever, I would put the mix together with a software.
Yeah.
And I was usually using like songs from movies, like from scores.
Yeah.
So I was incorporating like either like a good either from a soundtrack or from a score.
Yeah.
From any movies or whatever. So like like all of the Batman, the Nolan Batmans, like one of those.
No,
you're gonna find it in there.
You put on any music from any of the Rocky movies, I'll start sweating. I'll start doing jumping jacks, I can't not want to exercise when Rocky's playing. So, music scores are awesome. That's a great idea, working out to those.
Yeah, I was getting that. One of the recent movies, well, not recent nowadays, maybe in the last 5 years, it was King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. I don't know if you saw it.
I know of it. It's with Charlie Hunnam.
Yes,
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. I love Charlie.
That one.
I think he's great.
Yeah, they have a song in the movie and also in the credits. And in the movie is how Guy Ritchie, he usually puts like chases most of his movies. There's a chase. And the camera is like following or whatever. So in that movie is they played this song during a chase scene.
That's awesome.
So as soon as I heard that when I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh man, that song. I need to find out the name of the song because I want to look it up and I'm gonna use it on my playlist. And then they played it again at the end of the credits.
Yeah.
And And yeah, I still there. I mean, I haven't taught classes since COVID, in March 2020. But if I go back, which I might, I just, it's nice not to have to get up at 4 in the morning, because my class was at 5:15 a.m.
Yeah, that's early. It's early.
So maybe I'm gonna see. Maybe if I go back, I don't know. I haven't been in a gym. Like right now, I started working out in a gym, but it's at work, so it's very limited. Most of the time, I'm just by myself.
Sure.
You know, in the room. And but in a regular gym with other people working out and sweating and all that, I haven't done it since pre-COVID.
No, I only recently started going to a gym proper the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly because of COVID and stuff. And when COVID started, I was like, okay, we're gonna be doing just workout in the living room, free weights and pull-up bar and push-ups, body weight stuff.
Yeah.
Because I figured, more important than pushing a ton of weight or doing something crazy was just being consistent, moving your body every day, trying to be active for 20 minutes to an hour every day was my goal. And so, throughout all of COVID, I was able to do that. But the last 2 weeks have been so awesome, though, being back in the gym and being able to do just real weightlifting and stuff, and kind of experiment more with that and push myself a little harder. So I haven't been back at the gym really for that long either. But it is a different feeling, and it is really exciting and cool just being with other people who are, also just sweating and pushing through it. So it's awesome.
Did you try, because during COVID, did you try to buy any weights? Were you able to find anything affordable?
So that's one thing you realize when you're trying to work out at home, is that weights are expensive. And so luckily, right after my wife and I got married, we were gifted a big range of free weights. I forget if that was something we asked for, or maybe my wife asked for it on my behalf. She just knew it was something that I would want. And so that was one of our wedding gifts, was people who just got us a bunch of free weights. So didn't have to do any weight shopping throughout COVID, which was a big blessing. So that was great.
I got nothing. Like I was looking on eBay, I was looking on Craigslist, I was and all the weights, they were overpriced.
No, it's
way overpriced during COVID, that is.
Yeah.
Like 3 times the regular price.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Even the used ones, even the ones with rust, still were really expensive.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I need. So I was just doing the same. I was just trying to do push-ups. We got the not anymore, but for that time we got the Beachbody membership thing.
Yeah.
And I was just casting like workouts, follow along workouts, mainly like body weight,
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I was doing. I mean, that was it. I mean, I try to buy weights, but I mean, I don't have the money because it's too much. I went to Dick's, and Dick's didn't have anything. Walmart had nothing. I was very close to buy some plates from someone on the Facebook. What is that, marketplace or whatever it's called?
Facebook Marketplace or
Facebook Marketplace. And I was close enough to buy it, but I was gonna meet this person. Because I'm like, I don't know who this person is.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wanna meet this, and then apparently she was a woman too. Apparently that's what he's saying. And I think I was like, maybe she's not gonna feel comfortable either with me. So I'm like, let's just meet in a parking lot and a movie theater close by.
Yeah.
And that was the plan. But I mean, I didn't end up buying it. I didn't end up buying the plates, but I was close to buy them because she was giving them like the best price. Even though they were a little bit more, but still not as much as most people.
Yeah.
So I was very close to buy those plates. But it didn't happen, but it was gonna look sketchy, just meeting.
Sure.
Just imagine like putting the place in the trunk and just
in
a parking lot.
Stuff. Stuff, and it pulls out the 45-pound plate. The cops pull up, the sirens,
but
and they're like, "What is that?" Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was at the point that I'm like, I'm probably gonna have to do that. But
Yeah.
and then I didn't do it, and then I ended up buying some elastic bands, which
Yeah,
also
those are great.
yeah, they're fine, and but also the prices there also were more.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And because everywhere, I mean, everywhere was closed and everything overpriced, and that's what I used for a little while, and then I just took granted the gym. I just took it for granted.
Yeah.
So that's why I have nothing. No
Yeah,
plates, no dumbbells, just
No, I get you. I mean, it's not. It's just. I think COVID maybe exacerbated the situation a little bit. But yeah, just the general practice of um, scalping, in general.
yeah.
It happens in collecting. It happens in anyone who's trying to get into being a retailer at all, just upmarking prices and stuff. I experienced this very recently. Literally last night, I was waiting to pre-order the Last of Us, the video game. Just had a full remake for the PS5, and I wanted to get the special edition, the Firefly edition or whatever. And they were doing a re-release of it last night at like midnight and stuff. So I stayed up late and I was waiting for the time. And as soon as the clock hit, I was like refreshing the page over and over again to try and pre-order it, and it sold out within like the first 4 minutes, and I didn't get one. And then you look on eBay, and the game that retails for like $100 for the collector's edition or whatever is now already being marked as like $500-$600 by these other resellers. And it's just like, I don't normally complain too much about like scalpers and stuff, just because, I just understand that that's just what it is. I can complain about it, or I can just kind of deal with it. But last night was particularly painful because I was like, oh, I was so close. I almost had it, and now it's like, if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna be spending way more than it's worth, and I'm just like, oh god. But,
yeah. So this is a remake of the second one?
So this is a remake of the first game.
Oh, the first. Okay.
They graphically kind of enhanced it so that it is more in line with the graphics of the second game.
All right.
So it was kind of a big graphic overhaul. They used the original motion capture actors and voice acting and stuff, but because of just how far technology has advanced, even in the last 2-3 years, they're able to get even like more micro, like nuance acting from the facial capture and everything. It's really marvelous. It's really cool. I know a lot of people, for video games specifically, some people aren't a big fan of remakes. Like, it's kind of a divisive thing. They're like, no, don't waste our money on remakes. Just make something new. I'm a huge fan of remakes. I love whenever a remake comes out, just even if it's only like slightly better or looks slightly more enhanced. I don't know. There's something about me that I'm just like, oh, this is so great, just because I like the idea of things just kind of being polished over time and us kind of being able to carry them forward with us. And it happens with movies too, right? Like, there's something very charming about the old VHS grain on like, a screen when you watch it that way. But then there's something totally different when you watch that same movie you grew up with in the Blu-ray 4K HD. Like, it's ridiculous. It's night and day. And you're just like, this is crazy. It's like I'm seeing it for the first time, so I'm a big fan of that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And that game, man, that game is a beautiful, wonderful game. I mean, I played both of them. I don't have a PS5 yet.
Sure.
I don't know. I heard how it was very difficult to buy one.
Yeah, no, I overpaid. I definitely did. I just caved. I just was like, oh god. Well, my PS4 was breaking, is what was happening, and so it stopped working. And I was like, okay, it's either pay to fix the PS4, try to fix it myself, or just bite the bullet and try and get a PS5. And so I definitely overpaid a bit, but I got one and it's done. So I do feel good about it now. But at the time, I was like, oh no, what am I doing?
And I don't have the PS5. Do I need it? I don't. Do I want it? Yeah, I would like to have it.
Sure.
I would like to have it, but yeah, I heard about the price and everything. So and
Yeah.
then I am pretty new to PlayStation actually. Like my
Yeah.
PS4 is my very first PlayStation.
No, that was the
I
same for me. I got in on the
Already.
PS4 like 2 years ago. So
Uh-huh.
I'm very recent to gaming and everything, but I'm obsessed with it now. I love it.
I got the PS4. I wanna say I bought it on Black Friday.
Hmm.
It was my second time ever going at midnight to the mall.
Oh yeah.
I wanna say it was Black Friday of 2018.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it was 2018. So I went to GameStop, and the mall, they were gonna open at midnight on Black Friday,
Yeah.
and I got to the mall in the parking lot, probably like I did it kind of like in the last minute because I wasn't planning it, because it was my second time ever going on Black Friday shopping. The
Hmm.
first time was like in '98 and a
Yeah.
Walmart, and I went with one of my friends because he wanted to buy something, so I went with him,
Yeah.
but not because I wanted to buy anything. And so that was like in '97, '98, and this was again second time in 2018.
Yeah.
But this one I went by myself. It was like maybe I got in the parking lot maybe 11:30, 11:40
Yeah.
p.m. The mall was closed. They were gonna open the doors at midnight, and then I got in through a back door.
Yeah.
Like one of
you,
those
you broke in.
entrances. No, it wasn't even locked. So I went through that. I got in the mall, and then I went upstairs or whatever. Took the escalator. Oh no, the escalators were not on yet. Until but they were gonna turn them on
Took the
eventually.
stairs essentially.
Took the stairs, and I was like the fifth person in line
Yeah.
at GameStop.
Yeah.
And that obviously was closed. I was the fifth person, but I was already mentally prepared that
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna get it,
Sure.
because I didn't want to disappoint.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
So I was already mentally prepared that I'm not gonna get it as I'm walking, and then I saw that I was like the fifth person in line. I'm like, oh man, maybe I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
And yeah, and then without exaggerating, as soon as it was midnight, right?
Hmm.
They opened the doors. They announced that the mall was open,
Hmm.
and just a few minutes after that, a few minutes after midnight, I looked behind me. There was one person, but and then when I look behind me, there was like a long line just for
Yeah.
GameStop.
Yeah.
And no, so yeah, I bought it. I got the PS4. I was like, when I told the guy that I wanted the PS4, he said, "Oh yeah." So he went. I'm like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get it."
It's happening. It's really happening.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. I was so excited.
That's
Inside I
awesome.
was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get it." And I even got like you get like I got a gift card from GameStop. I think was like a $50 gift card.
Yeah.
So I used the gift card right there because I didn't have no games or anything
Yeah.
and I bought 2 used games. I
Yeah.
forgot which ones I bought. But anyway, so and then that was it. I'm like, I got it, and I got what I wanted. The only reason I went to the mall was for the PS4, so I got it, and I went to the parking lot.
A
But it was
successful
funny because
Black Friday trip.
yeah, but I was looking. I had my bag, and I walked out. It's midnight or whatever. Well, maybe like 12:20 by now,
Yeah.
and I'm in the parking lot, and I'm just like looking around. I'm like, I don't want to get jumped here. I was just looking
Yeah.
around. I got in. I got in my car, locked the doors or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy comes and he knocks it, and he's like, "Hey, I think I lost my wallet." I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, I don't know. Just look. He's like, "Yeah, I think I lost my wallet." So he was looking, and probably he did, but I don't know what happened. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm not gonna try to help.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
don't know what's going on.
I know it sucks. You lost your wallet, but
Yeah.
I'm by myself. It's nighttime.
Yeah.
It's a parking lot. I'm not gonna.
It's late at night, trying to get home. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So anyway, so I bought when I remember playing the first game, the Best of Us, and man,
Mhm.
what a game, dude! What a game! I
It's
played it.
one of the best. It really
Yeah,
is.
definitely. I played it. not on the easy level. I think just like the normal or the regular, the standard, whatever that is. I
Mhm.
forgot how many. There's a bunch of levels. No, isn't like easy, hard, super hard,
It
extreme,
goes
or something.
easy. I know it has different names for it,
Yeah, it has
but
different. Yeah,
essentially it's easy, normal, hard, and then crushing is the hardest difficulty.
yeah.
Um,
And I just played that whatever the default is. I think it's not easy, but I think it's just that
it's
the
on
next one,
normal, I think.
normal or whatever. And one of my buddies, he was telling me like, if you choose a more difficult level, you get less food, less
Hmm.
weaponry, more
Yeah,
zombies or something, like
yeah.
way
So
more
it's
difficult.
no, yeah, it's really it's fascinating. A lot of people, a lot of hardcore gamers, really recommend like, oh, you have to play it on crushing, the hardest difficulty, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where it feels the most like survival because you have the least amount of resources, less healing abilities, less ammo. You have to think a lot smarter of how you're gonna get around
Uh-huh.
the runners and the clickers and things like that. Uh, I'm not a super hardcore gamer, right? I'm pretty new to it still. So I've been working my way up to it. I've only played through the game twice.
The first
So I
one?
played through it on normal, and then I played it the next playthrough on hard. And so when I finally get the remake, the new one, I'm thinking it might be time for a crushing difficulty one. We'll see though. We'll see. I'm still
Yeah.
pretty scared if I'll be able to make it through.
So the one that you already played twice, is it the first one or the second one?
The first one. I
The
played
first
the
one.
second one time,
One
but
time. Okay,
I
yeah.
want to play it again. I want to play it again
Hmm.
because it's been over a year now since I played it. So I think I'll play the remake and then I'll play the second one again, and I'll have a more, I think, full opinion of the second one because the second one was very divisive for a lot of folks. You know, some people loved it, some people hated it.
Hmm.
I don't think I was necessarily in one of those camps. I definitely didn't hate it, but
No,
I
me
definitely
neither.
don't love it as much as I like the first one. But a fantastic game, I think, overall.
Oh
Still,
yeah. Oh yeah.
amazing game. I just think story wise, there's things some people don't like about it, and so I respect that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And the second one, the story in the second one is just nuts. You know,
It's crazy.
you can make a movie. You know, like
No, yeah,
with the story that they have.
I mean, they're working on. I don't know. Yeah, you. I mean, obviously you've played the games. I don't know how huge a fan you are of it, but for big fans out there, we're following the production of. I don't know if you've seen the HBO series for The Last of Us.
I know it's coming. It's not
Yeah.
out yet, right? It's
No,
coming, right?
they just released the tiniest little preview where it shows a bit of footage of Pedro Pascal as
Hmm.
Joel.
Yeah.
And I forget the actress's name who's playing Ellie.
Is
She's from Game of Thrones. She's
isn't she from Hereditary also?
oh yeah, she might be. Um,
I want to say, yeah.
yeah, but anyway, it shows like it's not a true trailer yet, but it's just the tiniest little clips. Nick Offerman is in it as well as Bill, which I'm very excited for.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I don't know. It looks really good so far. But again, we've been given the tiniest little sliver, so we don't really know what it's going to look like. But I'm very
Yeah.
excited for it, and I love Pedro Pascal a lot.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
he's an incredible performer, and he seems to really be trying to honor the source material, which for me is a big deal. I'm a big source material person, especially when it comes to comic books, comic book movies, things like that.
Yeah.
It's not that I need it, but I love it when it's there. Whenever they try and pay homage to what came before. So, yeah,
Yeah, I saw the little, I want to say teaser, but it's like a mini teaser because it's like so brief.
It's
It's
like
so
15
short.
seconds.
Yeah.
So it's very short.
Yeah, and well, I got, now I have HBO Max.
Yeah,
I got it just because the Snyder Cut. That was the only reason why I got.
that's the reason a lot of people hopped
Mhm.
on. I think honestly.
So I remember I got it for 3 months. It came out last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I got it in March. I got it like a week before the Snyder Cut was released. So my 3 months flew by, and then I paid. I got after my 3 months, I got the one with ads.
Yeah.
because it's like the cheaper tier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by cheaper I mean 99 bucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean it's like what, $10 a month. I'm a little over $10 a
Yeah.
month,
It's
whatever.
about $10, I think.
Yeah, and and then it got renewed automatically. I forgot, like last week. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, I saw my bank statement like 99 bucks
Yeah.
on the bank HBO Max. I'm like, wait, what?
Am I still paying for this? Yeah.
And then yeah, I mean it's because I was gonna cancel because I didn't get a reminder or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame them. They want to get you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But now I'm like, you know what? So yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna keep it because then I thought about it, and we have that Last of Us
Hmm.
show coming, so in the next
Hmm.
year, so I might as well keep it and
Yeah.
try to watch it. Because otherwise, where am I gonna be able to watch it?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I don't remember when or what reason we started HBO Max. I really just wanted it mainly for cartoons, honestly. Like I
Uh huh.
love the old DC animated cartoons are some of my favorite content ever made. And so all the DC animated movies, I love those. And
The
so
Justice League.
yeah, like all of Batman animated series, Superman,
Yeah.
Justice League Unlimited, Young Justice, Looney Tunes. I love Looney Tunes as well.
Yeah.
And so like I will still just on a Saturday morning, I will put on HBO Max and put on like a cartoon or something just for that feeling of when I was a kid watching Saturday morning cartoons was a big deal. And so
Hmm.
I'll still kind of do that in my adulthood, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Just watch cartoons on a Saturday just because,
Yeah.
I love it. So, and yeah, and the bonus was, I got to watch Snyder Cut when it came out. And when The Last of Us does come out, I'll get to see that. I
Hmm.
know a lot of people are really excited for the House of the Dragon. It's the Game of
Oh
Thrones
yeah, yeah,
prequel
yeah.
series.
Yep.
I know a lot of people are, even if they didn't like how Game of Thrones ended, or even if they don't like this new show, a lot of people have expressed just the joy of being kind of back in that world again, just because it was such a big part of people's lives for so long.
Yeah.
That it's just cool to have new content, So.
Are you watching that show?
So
Or
I have not seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. I know about it proximally just from
yeah.
friends of mine who are into it. So I know some plot points, some things vaguely, but I have not watched the show at all, and I haven't watched this new one. It remains to be seen if I'll dive into that
Yeah.
or not. But I've heard amazing things about the show and everything. Even though
Hmm.
the ending is divisive, I've heard great things about it. So
Yeah, I watched Game of Thrones only once,
mhm.
but like really, really late. I'm talking like years
Yeah,
after the fact,
sure, yeah, yeah.
because yeah, like you said, I think it was out like 10 years ago, whatever. It was like
It's been a long. It
so many
came out for a
seasons,
long time. Yeah.
8 seasons, whatever. I don't know how many years 8 seasons was, but
Yeah.
and I remember one of my buddies, he let me borrow the Blu-rays
Hmm.
because I didn't have HBO
Yeah.
or HBO Max wasn't out yet,
It wasn't a thing
but it
yet.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was on HBO, but I didn't have HBO. So so I watched the thing, and then I watched the season number 8. That one
Hmm.
I got like a free month or something for HBO, and that one I put a reminder on my calendar to cancel
Yeah.
on time, so I got my free months. And yeah, and that's how I watched it, and that's it. I mean, I haven't watched it again. It's a
Mhm.
good show, but yeah, it has some things that you can actually omit,
Sure.
and still it wouldn't affect the story.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of gratuitous stuff in there,
Uh huh.
that it doesn't has to be there,
Sure.
but is there.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a good show, but like I said, I mean, it's definitely rated R.
Yeah.
And then this new show is the second one. I've seen well, so far it's 2 episodes, so I've seen them.
Hmm.
uh, it's supposed to happen like 175 years before
Yeah.
or something like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, I heard it's doing is doing well, like this
Yeah,
streaming wise. You know, like
I think so. I think it's definitely performing well, and yeah, I think fans are just glad to be back in there, back in that
yeah.
world, back in that same mythos, which is just really cool. I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I say, it's a good show, but at the same time, it's not for everybody. But it could it could be better or whatever without some stuff that doesn't has to be there.
Sure.
Same. Mike from Did you see that? Hey, bro, I can't believe you are doing a live stream again. Yeah, Mike. This is my second one of the day, my third one ever, and it won't be long until you are beating me. That's right. Well, Mike, he's from the UK too. He's from the
Yeah.
UK. He also does movie reviews. But
Yeah.
now, recently, now he's doing live streaming, like, and he's
Yeah.
doing a good amount of them on weekly basis. Actually,
That's awesome.
that's why he says that I'm gonna be.
Yeah, you're catching up and chasing them.
Yeah, and usually, well, the only day off I have is Sunday. That's the only day off I have. But today, it just happened that I'm off, and I'm gonna work. I'm gonna work tonight, but I'm off from my one of my jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm gonna try to do like 2 live streamings. You know, why not? I'm
Why
gonna
not?
be off
You got
during the
time.
day,
Yeah.
and because I mean, like I said, Sunday is the only day I'm gonna be off, and so sometimes, you know, I mean, I don't mind being in front of the computer and talking about movies and toys,
Sure.
you know.
Sure.
And I don't want to blame my family, no, but I got a big family too, so I
No,
gotta
of
see them
course.
at some point.
Yeah.
I gotta see them. I need to see them grow.
Exactly. No, that's I mean, that's the priority, right? Like all the hobby stuff is awesome. The movie stuff is great. Like the things that
Yeah.
inspire us and that we love, passionate about, absolutely. But yeah, you know, it's family first, like always. Absolutely.
Family first.
So, and yeah, even on your Instagram, I can see how much you love your family and your kids, and that's really inspiring. I don't have any kids yet, but yeah, time with my wife is something that I cherish and I protect fiercely. And I'm like, oh no, this has to happen, or like all this other stuff just, you know, falls apart. So
yeah,
so yeah, no, that's awesome. Makes sense.
Yeah, once you have children, then you're gonna have to juggle the time with you and your wife.
I believe it.
The more kids, obviously, the more difficult. But then, as they get older, I mean, it's just new things. You know, like right now, we are just experimenting. Not experimenting, but I guess experiencing. Not experimenting. Experiencing.
Yeah.
Not experimenting. We're experiencing this new thing with driving situation thing. Now that school is our oldest, she's gonna go to school for the first time ever, because all of them have been homeschool.
Yeah.
So she's gonna go to school for the first time ever on Tuesday.
Yeah.
God willing, she's gonna go. So now we have to, you know, take her there. You know, take her to school, pick her up, volleyball practice, and all these things that we were not used to. You know, because when they were homeschool forever, you know, they were doing school in pajamas and any time whenever they wake up.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a big.
My wife is from a family of 11 siblings. She has 11 siblings. So the parents had 12 kids total, which is just crazy to think about. But yeah, they were all homeschooled as well for most of their childhood. So 12 kids, all homeschooled. I've heard so many crazy stories and things. She has told me that she never wants to have that many kids. But you know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, it's super exciting. I see, on your page, you're getting your kids into movies and into exercising and things like that.
Try
martial arts. I think.
Definitely.
About, which
is
really,
definitely
really
martial
awesome.
arts.
Yeah.
I was thinking. My youngest, he's only 4. He turned 4 like last month, so he's still, you know, he's still too young to get him. Well, actually, I could get him right now. Like sure. as long as you're 4, you do martial arts at the school where my other kid goes. But I think I'm gonna wait a little bit, just a little bit, and also because, you know, the class ain't free, so we're gonna wait. So we're gonna wait a little longer. But yeah, definitely, I want him to do that. some martial arts, and then we'll see what happens next. The oldest, she's doing volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
My second one, she's doing gymnastics.
Wow.
She likes it, and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, kids are expensive too.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. That's so
But
good though. Getting them
so
involved in the good stuff.
in the good stuff, yeah. So we're watching. One of the things that I haven't gotten them into is Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Even though last night we we went to watch. It was my third time
Mm-hmm.
watching the Dragon Ball Superhero.
Yeah, the new movie.
Dragon Ball Superhero. Did you get
Yeah.
to see it?
I've not seen it yet. I've just
Uh-huh.
seen little teasers and clips, but I haven't seen it yet.
Are you gonna see it, or are you gonna wait?
I'm probably gonna wait. I don't. There's not like a place near me that I can go see it right now, so I'm probably just gonna
Okay.
wait to watch it. But it looks cool.
Okay.
It looks really hype. But yeah.
Yeah, it was. I liked it. Is did you see? Oh, I'm sure you did. Did you watch the movie Broly, Dragon Ball Super Broly?
Um. No, I actually haven't kept up with Dragon Ball since I watched the very beginning of Dragon Ball Super. So
Uh-huh.
I've not caught up with like any of the main arcs or any of the movies or anything. At some point, that might be something that I get to.
Uh-huh.
But I mostly I'm just fighting the urge to not just reread all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z all the time, just because that's what I have the most nostalgia for.
Yeah.
But the movie, anytime I see clips from any of the movies, I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. And of course, the animation nowadays is just
Yeah.
so much crazier than what was going on back in the '90s. But yeah, it's so cool to see so many fans. I think, especially in theaters, right? Get to go in
Yeah.
theaters and watch an anime movie. That's something really special. So yeah, at some point I'll probably get around to watching all of it, but I haven't seen it yet. But I've heard great
Okay.
things.
Yeah, definitely the animation is different. Is better, I think, than Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Mm-hmm.
And because that one came out, I want to say 2018. 2018
Sounds right.
sounds about right. Yeah, I want to say, yeah. So it only 4 years. The animation is like, it's a big change.
Yeah.
And so I like this one, Dragon Ball Superhero, a little better than Broly, and mainly because of the animation. So definitely very different approach, which was really cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I took him last night. We had like 2 hours before getting my daughter from practice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did you go to the movies? And they were like, what do we want to watch? Because they go often to the movies, so they take it for granted. Like something they don't want to go. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Let's go to the movie.
So it was empty. I mean, there were only like 2 people. It was a huge theater. There were 2 people in front, and like 5 rows in front of us, and then us in the very back.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So that was perfect.
I love that.
It was perfect.
I think it was a late night showing of Man of Steel when Man of Steel came out way back when.
Yeah.
And it was me and all my siblings, and I don't know if we just picked the right time to go, but the theater was completely empty but us. It was just me and my siblings, so we could talk as much as we wanted, we could be as loud as we wanted, because there was nobody around to complain, and that was just that's like a core memory for me. Some people have their opinion of that movie, but I will always love Man of Steel. Not only because I like the movie, but also because of that experience of just me and my siblings kind of goofing around and watching this movie in a theater to ourselves, which is usually, to get that, you have to rent out a theater yourself and get your friends to go with you and stuff. But that was just kind of a special little thing that happened.
Yeah, that's a good. I don't give it crap. Like a lot of people give a lot of crap to Men of Steel.
Yeah.
I like the movie,
Mm-hmm.
And I know it wasn't well received by many people. It's fine, whatever. But I liked it,
Yeah.
And
it's definitely very different from the old Christopher Reeve stuff, which I also love. My dad had us watch all the old classics before we would watch any of the new stuff. So I've watched all the Christopher Reeve things, and I like that as well. But I really liked Henry as Superman, and I liked that movie. It was when Batman v Superman came out. That was where I was first kind of like, I don't know if I love this as much, but I like Man of Steel quite a bit.
Yeah, I never seen the Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
Really?
Yeah, and I know those are from way. I mean, I was alive.
Yeah, yeah.
I was already born. I remember just hearing or seeing pieces here and there on TV when I was a kid, but I have never sat down and watched from beginning to end. Is it two or three? Do you know
There's
how many?
four.
Oh wow. Okay, never
Four
mind.
of them.
Four of them.
Yeah,
And
I think.
so
Yeah. In all honesty, I'd say the first one is kind of the one worth watching. Because like that's the other thing. Sometimes people will rip on like new superhero movies and they'll talk about the old movies like they're absolutely perfect, but like there's several factors that go into that. One, namely, half the time they were not perfect, even for the time that they came out. And two, they show their age a little bit. But if you go in with that context of like, okay, this came out, 1980s, 1990s, whatever, like you go in with that context, you can kind of appreciate, the practical effects and like just the limits of that time. You don't have to harp on it for that reason. But even then, like there's some really goofy, wacky stuff in those movies, like especially in like 3 and 4. I think 4 is honestly like just really bad. Honestly, like it's just not a good movie at all, regardless of if you're a big Superman fanboy. But yeah, the first one I think holds up very well and just kind of captures that kind of hopeful optimism of Superman's character in a way that I think a lot of people were missing from Henry Cavill, Man of Steel. They were just kind of wanting more of that optimistic, triumphant kind of Superman. But again, so I think it captures that in that. But of course, the action of the old movie will never measure up to like the action in Man of Steel. You know what I mean? Just because of the way that effects have developed and technology has gotten better and things like that. So. Still definitely worth a watch. At least the first one. I really like the first one.
The only one that I've seen is the one, and I saw it in theaters back in the day. I think is Superman Returns. That's the one with Brandon. What's his name? Brandon
Ruth.
Brandon Ruth. Yeah, that's the one that I remember seeing.
Yeah, he's a good Superman. I like him as Superman.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, he's and I don't remember like the whole because I saw it in theaters only one time, and that's it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Since then, but there's this scene that it got in my mind since the first time I saw it. Is when that bullet is coming to his eye.
Yeah, and it just
like in slow motion, and then it doesn't hurt him.
Flattens against his eyeball.
It's awesome. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then my next Superman movie was Man of Steel, and to me, Henry Cavill, like he's Superman.
He is.
I like him as Superman. To me, maybe I don't know if it's because I haven't seen Christopher Reeves as Superman, but to me, this Superman, I like this Superman, like Henry Cavill. Maybe also because I like Zack Snyder as a director.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know some people like Zack Snyder, other people don't. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I like his style. I like the movie, and for some of the things that I heard is like Superman, like killing General Zod, for instance, like Christopher Reeve Superman wouldn't do stuff like that.
Sure.
And I get it, but what else was he supposed to do?
Yeah,
with Zod. I mean, put him. Where was he gonna put him?
Yeah, the Phantom Zone and the Phantom Zone projector weren't in the universe for him to just zap him away.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and a lot of us as fans, we make a big deal of things, and which is fine to have fun. But there's some other fans that they just, things get out of hand and they just take it, attack they don't respect other people's opinions, so to speak.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. I'm totally fine with somebody loving something, and I'm totally fine with someone not liking something. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to like everything. You know, it'd be an exhausting world if you had to like everything. You know, so.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes in people's expression of not liking something, it can like not leave room for people who do enjoy something, who are excited about something. That's just like the nature of kind of positivity and negativity in general. Um, but you know, like I can also admit when I like something and it's still objectively bad. You know,
Yeah.
like for instance, my wife and I have been watching um, all of the Alien and Predator movies because we
Oh,
haven't
right.
seen all of them, and we still haven't seen Prey yet, but we really want to watch Prey, so we were like,
Mm-hmm.
let's watch all of them. So we started at Alien to Aliens to Predator 2
Okay.
to Alien Resurrection, and you know all of them. And so we just watched Alien versus Predator last night,
The first one, right?
and the first Alien versus
Okay.
Predator.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd heard tons of things about this movie of it being just absolute garbage. It's terrible, yada, yada, and stuff. And Sarah and I, my wife and I, we watched it last night and we both finished it. And we're like, honestly, we really liked it. We really had a good time with it. You know, like, yeah, it creates, I think, a lot of inconsistencies with some of the other movies. Like, there's some
Yeah.
plot holes here and there. There's some things from the previous movies they totally disregard. But, like, my wife put it really well. She says, she's like, essentially, I watched this movie to watch an alien fight a predator, and that's what I got. And
That's
I was
what I
like,
got.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, so objectively, no, I don't think Alien versus Predator is the best of the franchise by any means. But did I really have a good time last night watching it? Absolutely, I loved it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I don't mind that one. I don't mind Alien versus Predator. The first one.
Yeah.
I had a good time with it. That one I did watch it in theaters, and I ended up buying the not the Blu-ray. I had the DVD.
Mhm.
I have it, and I even have one of the toys from that movie. I'll show it to you very quick.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's one of those McFarlane, and but I only got one. I think they were a set of 3,
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
and
When he picks him up with his
yeah,
tail. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
and
so cool.
I also have, because I'm a big fan of the Alien and Predator.
Yeah,
Uh,
of
I
course.
got this one from the same movie.
Oh
Remember the
yeah, when he
net?
gets the razor net on him.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
so I was like, so yeah. I mean, I don't love it, but I liked it enough to that I bought it. I had a good time with it, and yeah, there's some inconsistencies there. You know, one that comes to mind right now, and I'm gonna say it because the movie has been out for
No,
years.
yeah, no, it's spoiler alert for the over 10-year-old movie, almost
It's like
20-year-old.
supposedly the predator he goes hunting to a place where there's a lot of violence and heat.
Yeah, no, that was one of the big things that
Yeah, and here he's in the Antarctica, right? So
it's Antarctica. Nobody's fighting. It's just
yeah,
like
but still, I mean, I still enjoy the movie, you know, for what it is, and yeah, I mean, you want an alien fighting a predator, that's what you get. I didn't mind, you know.
yeah, yeah.
I had a good
So
time with that one.
yeah, so we've been enjoying that franchise a lot, you know, and we haven't been like hardcore reviewing the movies and stuff, but we'll always
Uh-huh.
talk about it afterwards. We'll be like, you know, like no, yeah, like we like the first 2 Alien movies a lot. Like they're really really
Oh,
good, and we like
oh,
the first 2
definitely.
Predator movies a ton. And I know you have a lot of love for the Predator 2, which we just
Yeah,
watched the night before.
yeah. I
And
like it.
yeah,
I like it.
really enjoyed that one. It was really cool. Seeing Danny Glover just fight it out with a Predator 1v1 and win,
Yeah,
which is crazy. And the scene where they hand him the pistol and like the kind of the
yeah,
honor between them is awesome. It was really cool. So and you
yeah,
see that's the first time you see the xenomorph skull in the background of the
yeah.
ship,
Oh yeah,
just like hinting at the predators and the aliens and stuff. So yeah, we've had a ton of fun with that. I think yeah, next up is the second Alien versus Predator. And then I think we have Predators next with Adrian Brody
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
stuff. So Yeah, we're chewing our way through, and eventually we'll
Uh-huh.
watch Prey, which we've heard is really good and it looks really good. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see that. But
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Predator 2. I like it more
then the
than
first
most
one,
people. No,
yeah,
no, no. More than most people,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think. No, to
mhm.
me, the first one is still the best one. I grew up with one and two.
Yeah,
Um, the first one, I don't even know how many times I've seen it because I
yeah.
lost I
It's a
lost track.
classic. It's an absolute
Yeah,
classic. It's so
I
good.
I just watched it like during those years, like 80. I think came out in 87.
Hmm.
Probably like around 88, 89, 90, around those years. All the big movies that I was watching, like Hollywood movies that I was watching at, during those years when I was a kid, it was like Aliens, Predator, Commando, Bloodsport. I was watching all these movies, and uh, well, Hard Target, that was more in the 90s,
Hmm.
but I mean, those are the I didn't watch, even though I was aware. Uh, I don't remember watching like Star Wars,
Yeah.
like I remember seeing pieces, but nothing like I like Star Wars.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I like it. I don't love it, but I do like it.
Hmm.
I wasn't watching like ET or like some big like major franchises now,
Yeah.
and but I don't know. I guess that's what happened to me. I guess
Hmm.
that's what I
No,
was
yeah.
exposed to. I don't know.
No, it's so interesting how the time that you grew up in, yeah, just affects the things that you're into now and the things that you watched growing up. Because even 1 year of difference makes a huge difference, you know. So like,
Hmm.
I was technically born in the '90s, but it's '97, so it was so far late into the '90s that like I can't really be called a '90s kid, right?
Yeah.
But I've interacted with people like a year younger than me, even 1 year younger, and they never watched Looney Tunes, they never watched the Batman animated series, they never, just 1 year of difference, and they didn't grow up with that stuff, and so it's
Wow.
like it's crazy, you know. And again, I was lucky growing up that my dad was really into like classic movies, like so he always showed us like he showed us the original Christopher Reeve Superman. He showed us
Hmm.
the original Tron. He showed us
Yeah.
um, Indiana Jones and yeah, just older movies that like maybe without him we probably wouldn't have seen, you know. And so from that, I because you know some people grow up and like they don't want to watch old movies, you know, like oh no, that's not good.
Yeah.
I only want to watch new stuff, you know, and so that's fine. But it's also sad because there's so many
They're missing
classics that
out.
are just really really good. And so in high school, actually, I somewhere along the line I became obsessed with '80s action movies, even though I didn't grow up with them necessarily. I'm too young for
Uh-huh.
that. But I think it was I watched the first Rocky, and after I watched the
Oh.
first Rocky, I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And so that was like, okay, Rocky 2, okay, Rocky 3, okay, Rocky 4, okay, Predator, okay, Commando, okay, Terminator 2, okay, you know,
Yeah.
all of that. And so, uh, yeah, like all those '80s action heroes are icons in my mind. Again, not because I grew up with them or was even remotely around at the time they were popular, um, but more so just this kind of retrospective. Like I discovered it in high school, and I was like, "This is like the coolest stuff ever," even though I didn't
Yeah.
come into it naturally. I only recently watched Bloodsport for the first time,
Oh.
like a few, like I think it was last year, and it was awesome. It
Yeah.
was so awesome, mostly because I grew up with Street Fighter 2. That's like one of
Oh,
my favorite games ever, and like uh, not only is Jean Claude Van Damme in just the Street Fighter movie, but you know,
hmm
Bloodsport is essentially just it's a fighting tournament movie, you know, and so it's just
Yeah.
got all the different fighting styles, and oh, it was awesome. I loved it. But yeah, before that, I know you're a huge Jean Claude Van Damme fan,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I
Yeah.
have to admit to you though that the first Jean Claude Van Damme movie I ever saw was actually Expendables 2, which I saw in theaters and is
Oh,
still one
yeah.
of
Yeah.
my
Me too.
favorite movies, where he plays the villain in that.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever saw him in anything. And I was like, who is this guy? This guy's crazy, you know? And so, and from that, I was like, oh, let me see, like, what else? And so it's like Time Cop and, well, not Time Cop, what is it? Universal
Time Cop.
Soldier and
Yeah, that one too. Yeah.
Bloodsport, and I mean, there's so many others that he's done. Him and Steven Seagal, they're kind of the masters of just pumping out action movies all the time.
Yes, Steven Seagal. I've seen some of his movies, but I don't remember like the name of the movies for Steven Seagal.
They all kind of blend together for Steven Seagal.
Yeah, and I like some of his movies, but I haven't seen all of them.
No, yeah,
because I was more into Van Damme, Jackie Chan, and I remember watching Steven Seagal movies as well, but I don't remember like the names. I forget the names.
The only one I can know the name of is Siege, because that's the one where he's like, I think he's a Navy SEAL.
Oh, Under Siege. Yes. Yes.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Gary Busey is in it too.
Yeah.
Gary Busey. Yeah.
That's the only one I know the title of. Every other one, it's just like, oh, it's like Steven Seagal, and he's like beating people up, of course, you know. So
yeah. I like some of the names that I remember is like that one that you said, Under Siege, Out for Justice, something about the sun. This one is more in the 2000s.
I think his movies just have the problem of having the most kind of cliche action movie titles. Like it's just like, yeah, they all kind of flip and blend together in my head. I'm just like, oh yeah, like it's hard to keep track of. Again, I like his work, but it's hard to pinpoint like his movies sometimes.
Yeah, Out for Justice, and what's the other one? I don't know, but there's one like I think to me his most memorable character is Nico. He plays as Nico, has a little ponytail.
Yeah.
But I remember some of the scenes, like he's in a bar and then he grabs like one of those balls, like the from the pool,
like the billiard pool, the pool ball.
Yeah, puts him in a towel, and then he starts smashing people with it,
knocking people in the head. That is
really good scene. Oh yeah, that's yeah. No, he was big in the 90s, Steven Seagal, and I remember just, like I said, some of his movies, but yeah. Oh, I was gonna ask. Well, I asked you this before because I know you collect hats.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to see like.
Now.
Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, I like both, but most of my hats are like this, like the flat bill.
Yeah.
What do you have? I know. I remember I told you I really like that one you have with the Batman that has like a bandana type of thing.
Yeah, the Paisley Batman.
Yeah, what was that?
I have it right here. So this was actually my very first flat bill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's the Paisley and the bat symbol, and then on the underside of the bill.
Yeah, dude.
No, yeah, it was my very first one. So it was at a Hastings. I don't know if you've ever heard of Hastings or been to Hastings. It's kind of like it was like a comic book, video game, toy reseller. It was kind of just like a warehouse for all those sort of things. And so there was there was one here in town that was, it was my go-to place for all my nerd stuff. And then it like went out of business, unfortunately. And so they were having a big closing sale. And so me and my friends would go like, every other day trying to see if there was something we wanted and stuff. And so, it started out good where you're like, oh, I can get this thing and I wanted to get this thing because it's at a lower price and this thing. And then eventually towards the end of the week, there was just like, just kind of stuff nobody wanted. And so you kind of go in and look around for a while and be like, this isn't that good. But I was in there and I was like, I was just had money in my pocket that was like burning a hole. I was like, I want to buy something. I don't know what. And a buddy of mine knew that Batman was my favorite superhero. And he was like, Noah, look at this. And he tossed me this hat. And I was like, oh, dude, I have to have this. So I've never seen anyone with one like this either. So I was just like,
same.
But this
Same.
one's probably my favorite overall, just because it was my very first one, and it's just so unique, and it's my favorite superhero. So
uh-huh.
the Paisley Batman hat is my favorite of all time for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I never seen it. Never seen it. Only I've seen it just yours, but I never seen
No,
one. I was like,
yeah,
oh, it caught
because
my
yeah,
eye when I saw it.
you can see people like I'll wear one of my hats sometimes, and I'll see someone else wearing the same hat, and that's always a cool thing. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome! Like I love your
yeah,
hat. You know, I love Dragon Ball. I love that. But yeah, it does. It also feels special mostly because I've just never seen it anywhere else, and I don't
yeah.
know if it. I don't think it was exclusive by any means, but it's just special for that reason. So
Yeah, cool.
um, another one is another classic, my Ash
Oh yeah,
Ketchum
yeah.
Pokemon
That's from
hat.
Pokemon. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is just one that as a child, like I always wanted, right, Ash's hat from Pokemon because I grew up with the TV show, I grew up playing the games, and Pokemon was a big part of my life. And so yeah, the minute I got adult money, and I was like, oh, I just want to get this just for the feeling of feeling
Yeah.
like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. And so yeah, I don't actually wear it a ton, but I love just having it and kind of displaying it on the wall. And anytime I do wear it, it's like it's relatively recognizable. Like relatively, I don't think it's
Yeah.
like it doesn't. It's not like a big Pokeball and says Pokemon on it though, which I like. I like that it's a subtle reference that like if you know, then you know, and they're
Then you
like,
know,
oh,
yeah.
nice Ash Ketchum hat, you know. So that's really
Yeah, I recognize that. I mean, I'm not into Pokemon. I
cool.
think I was too old by the time Pokemon
Yeah.
came out, but I do recognize some of the characters, at least the
Mhm.
main ones, and I did recognize the hat.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's iconic. I mean, I don't even know what the symbol is even supposed to mean. Like, I don't think it's really given a. I don't know if it's actually given a significance, but it's just, oh, that's Ash's hat. That's what he wears, you know. So it's like
yeah.
pretty neat. Yeah, this is another one of my favorite ones. This one's pretty basic, but it's my PlayStation logo
Oh, I
hat.
have it. I have it.
I love it. I love it. It's got the
Yeah,
glossy bill and then the blue on the
the
underside,
blue one.
which is
Yeah,
awesome.
that one.
Yeah.
I bought it. Mine. I think I got it at GameStop. I think that's what I found mine.
Yeah.
If I'm right, yeah, that's when I got it. Do you remember where you got it?
I bought most of mine secondhand
Uh-huh.
because after I got the Batman one, like Hastings was art. Like I wasn't a hat person before that, and so I was like, oh, I didn't really care to buy hats. And so after Hastings was like closed, though, I was like, oh, well, I can't buy hats anywhere. So I was just like scouring online for anyone that was selling like cool design. I was just like looking up. I was literally just typing in like Pokemon hat, you know, or
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender hat, just like to see if there were any cool designs out there that I thought were neat.
Yeah.
And so I do just love the simple PlayStation buttons. Like it's just I don't know. I think aesthetically it's very nice. And yeah, in the last 2 years since my wife bought me, because that's how I got my PlayStation. I wasn't as eager. I wasn't out there at Black Friday sale like you were. But my wife bought one from a friend of ours who was getting rid of his, and so he gave it to us for a really good deal. And so I got it secondhand, you know, really late into the game. I think by that point the system was already 2 years old, if not more. But it worked just fine, and so I started playing games, and now it's one of my biggest hobbies, and I'm a full PlayStation fanboy. So I have a PlayStation shirt with this logo. I have the hat.
Oh, nice.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
So
I bought my hat, that one. I remember I saw it, but I saw it before I had my PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy it because I'm like, I didn't buy it right away. I'm like, I want to buy it, but I don't have a PlayStation. So
yeah,
so
you never want to feel like a fake fan, but honestly, right now I'm considering getting an Xbox hat, even though I don't have an Xbox, because you know there's the whole console war thing. Like if you're PlayStation, you have to hate Xbox, and if you're Xbox, you have to hate PlayStation. But I have a friend of mine right now that he and I are playing through the Halo campaigns together on his Xbox. And it was a dream of mine to play Halo. I always wanted to play Halo, and now I finally have the opportunity to. And so, in a way, you know, I am a fan of Xbox, and I do, you know, love the work that they do as well. Like, I don't think one is necessarily better than the other,
Yeah.
I don't think most people think that way either. It's just usually you get one or the other of the systems and you just kind of stick with that because it's what you know. Like I don't think most people actually vehemently hate one or the other. They're just like, oh, I
Yeah.
grew up with Xbox, so I stick with Xbox. Unless you can afford both, which is awesome if you can. But I can't. You know, considering I already paid scalper prices for the PS5, I can't also be trying to go buy an
To the
Xbox for
Xbox.
crazy prices too. So, but I can get the hat. I can get the hat and still support that way. So,
I had a 360 Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And I got it. My wife got it for me. It was like pre-kids.
Yeah, of course.
It's important.
Much more time for
Much
Xbox.
more time. It was I think I got it in 2006, and I had it all this time until it broke. It broke twice.
Yeah.
It got the Ring of Death.
The Ring of Death. It's so
Twice.
so famous. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? After the second time, I'm like, I guess I'm gonna switch to PlayStation, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know about the Xbox One. I don't know if it has the same issue with the Ring of Death. Do you know? Or no?
So I don't know. So from what I've seen, it seems that yeah, with the 360 specifically, there were just lots of instances of the Ring of Death and just times when it would shut down for whatever reason. I still think in general it was a great system. I had tons of friends who had them who have so many fond memories of different games they played on the 360.
Yeah.
I think for both PlayStation 4 and for Xbox One, they're definitely, I think, the hardier of the systems. I know a lot more people who have had both systems for longer periods of time without any problems. However, you know, I think like most electronics, you know, like any laptop that you get or phone, you know, as just time goes on, it's gonna slow down. It's gonna chug a little bit. It's gonna take a bit longer to boot up and stuff. There's lots of memes about the PlayStation 4, like the fan sound being so loud it sounds like an airplane or something, you know. So, you know, just that's just the way it is with old electronics. So I don't think it's necessarily like again, console versus console. I can't say which was better or worse. But yeah, like even after 2 to almost 3 years using my PlayStation 4, which was already used for 2 years when I got it, it worked perfectly, you know, for the time that I had it. And so whenever it started dying, it just got to the point where it would freeze and it would like turn off. And I was like, oh, this sucks. This is terrible. But I was like, to be fair though, it's like, I've been playing it constantly for the 2 years that I've had it, and my buddy had it for like 2 years on top of that. So I was like, I definitely got my money's worth out of it, essentially.
Yeah.
Whereas I used it enough to where it makes sense that it's kind of slowing down. And in the end, I was able to fix it. I took it apart completely and looked up tons of videos. And yeah, it was a whole process, but I replaced the hard drive on it, and it works just fine now. So, which is cool. Because I thought I was just gonna have to, you know, sell it for parts or just pitch it or something. So now if I sell it, at least it's working, you know, for someone else that wants to
grab it,
which is
That's
good.
cool. Do you have another hat in there?
Yeah, I have more hats. So this one is one of my other pride and joys, my Doom Eternal hat.
Oh, I never seen that one.
From Bethesda. Yeah, this one is one of my favorites. It's pretty simple. It's got the little Doomslayer symbol on the back. Just kind of red trim on the bill. This one I got because one, Doom Eternal is one of my favorite games, probably of all time. Probably my second favorite game I've ever played. And I got really into the game, and so I started watching pretty much every like YouTube video and thing about the game that you could. And the game director, Hugo Martin is his name. He did a live stream series on YouTube where he would play the game with like the community manager would watch him and kind of talk with him while he played it, and kind of revealed kind of behind the scenes things of how they develop certain levels, and just really, really cool, fun stuff. Also, just watching the game director play the game is just really neat. And so they would do an episode, like a level every week or every month, I think, every 2 weeks maybe. And so, yeah, that was one of my favorite things, just waiting for that next episode and playing. But the community manager, Josh, he was always wearing this hat. He always had this hat on. And so I was like, dude, like, I love the flat bills. I love the game so much. Like, if I could get that hat that Josh is wearing, then I really want to. And so I went to the website, the Bethesda website, the merch store, and they were all sold out. And so I was like, oh gosh, no, like, I don't think I can get one, because you just never know if they're going to do another run. But then I saw someone selling it used in great condition on eBay, and so I snagged it off of eBay. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, for that reason, it's one of my favorites, because yeah, it was cool to kind of feel a part of that live stream when it was going on, and I do just love the game. So I love I'm always looking for new Doom Eternal merch, just because it's one of my favorites. So
yeah. How many hats do you have left right now? Because I want to guess if there is one that I think is going to be in there.
No, so yeah, so this is I just pulled down my top 5.
Okay, so you got
collection is now down to, I think, 8 or 9 hats.
Oh yeah, but you have
huge. So my final hat, you can probably guess what it is.
No. There are 2 left, right? 2 hats left from the top 5, or no?
So the first one, it was. So yeah, we had Paisley Batman.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we had Ash Ketchum.
Yep.
2.
PlayStation. Oh yeah, so there's one
3,
left.
Doom Eternal 4.
I think I know which is the next one. I think.
Yeah.
I wanna say it, and if I guess, I'm gonna look good. If I fail, I'm gonna look bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and say that the last one is from the movie Toy Story.
It's from the Toy Story. That's a very good hat as well. My
did I fail?
It's not the one, but it's one of my. It is one of. They're all my favorite. Yeah. I wouldn't own them if they weren't my favorite. The Pizza Planet hat.
Yeah.
That is a good one. I like that one. But you were close though, because it's not from Toy Story. It's actually my Spawn hat.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, that one, I think I saw it on Instagram one time.
Yeah,
I think you had it in a video one time.
And in a way, this one's cheating, because it's not even an official hat. This is one that I made because in looking actually for like official Spawn merchandise, like Spawn T-shirts and Spawn hats, whatever you want to get, McFarlane actually has released very little. Like, they don't really do it. So you actually have to go to like a custom tee place, and they'll make you like a Spawn T-shirt or something. And so I just bought this this kind of stitched pattern patch right here, which I think is made to like go on a jacket or something, or whatever you want. So I just bought it, and I literally just hot glued it to this generic black and green cap, and luckily the colors matched up really nicely.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So now, yeah, it's not only a representation of my second favorite comic book character, it's also one of a kind, because nobody, they just haven't made actual hats like this. I think they should. Like, McFarlane Toys, if you're listening, just make these hats. People will definitely buy them. Sure. So that's free money just right there.
So Spawn is your second favorite comic book character?
Yeah.
Are you playing the Mortal Kombat one, the latest Mortal Kombat? I think Spawn is one of the playable
He is
characters.
one of the so actually I am wearing my Mortal Kombat T-shirt as well.
Yeah.
But fun fact about Mortal Kombat, I've not played a single one of the games.
But not even the first one.
I haven't played a single one. I haven't played any of them. But I'm obsessed with the original Mortal Kombat movie from the 80s. I love that movie so much. It's just got the right amount of like old kung fu energy, kind of slapstick silliness, and the Mortal Kombat characters are just really cool. But I remember I watched it in college with 2 buddies of mine. We like stayed up really late, and we were like, let's watch this movie, and we loved it. And so that's why I have the shirt, not because I'm actually a big fan of the games. But whenever they did announce that Spawn was coming to Mortal Kombat 11, I think it is. That was the first time when I was like, maybe it's time to start playing some Mortal Kombat, because Spawn is my absolute favorite, and he hasn't had a video game, I think, in many years.
Really? I don't even know. Yeah.
I know he had one. I think it was called Spawn Armageddon way back in the day. Probably over 10 years ago at this point. But yeah, so again, we'll see. We'll see if I'll probably just end up downloading Mortal Kombat 11 from the store just so I can play as Spawn a little bit, even if I'm terrible. Just because I love the character so much, and
Yeah.
being able to play as him in a game sounds really awesome. So
I have that game, but I don't have that character. I think you have to buy.
it's like DLC or something.
Yeah, you have to add it on later or something, or maybe buy the most expensive edition that maybe includes every single one. Because the one I have, I am missing a number of players, but the one that I care about that I'm missing is like Rambo, Terminator, Spawn, and I forgot. But I mean, there are all the other characters, but those are RoboCop is another one that is also in there.
Yeah, they added all the 80s.
Joker too, I think.
Yeah, Joker's in it.
Yeah, but you, like I said, you got to buy the separate package or something like that.
Yeah, it's, and again, like that's also what I think makes me hesitate from getting the game, because I know that I'm just getting it so I can play as these other characters that aren't actually even Mortal Kombat characters. You know, like I just want to play RoboCop or Terminator or Spawn or whatever, and so it's not really, again, it's not me being a true Mortal Kombat fan. Don't get me wrong. I think the lore and the story and the characters in Mortal Kombat are awesome, but it's just not a game that I grew up with. Like I'm a Street Fighter guy through and through. Like Street Fighter, I love all of their games. Grew up with Street Fighter 2. I have so many of the figures. It's like one of my favorite things to collect is Street Fighter figures.
I like that collection that you have, dude.
No, it's awesome. I hope that SH Figuarts kind of resurrects the line, because we haven't heard a peep from them about Street Fighter in a while.
Yeah, so those are expensive right now too.
Yeah, no, like to backtrack and get them right now is really expensive.
Yeah,
and I think they just don't realize. I mean, don't get me wrong, SH Figuarts, they're not necessarily to blame. They have so many different properties and plates spinning and different IPs to worry about between Star Wars, Marvel, every anime ever. Like they've got a lot on their plate. So I think it'd be easy for them to kind of let Street Fighter and things like it slip through the cracks. But it was really cool. The Street Fighter's getting a little love now, because I don't know if you saw this.
What?
The Hasbro announced their it's their Power Rangers line, the Legacy Collection. It's a Street Fighter Power Rangers crossover, so it's like a Power Ranger version of Ryu from Street Fighter, and then a Power Ranger version of Chun-Li.
Oh no, I didn't know about that. No.
Yeah, no, it's pretty neat. I mean, I know there's tons of people who are really into the Power Rangers line by Hasbro. I'm not a super big Power Rangers fan. Like I grew up watching a bit of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but again, not like a super fan. But even the fact that it crossed over to Street Fighter, I'm like, oh man, maybe I should get these. But I don't know how far into the line they're gonna go. Like I would want them to make every single character but Power Ranger version.
Yeah.
So we'll see how far it goes. But really, it's just because I'm thirsting so much for more just Street Fighter stuff, just anything Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But hopefully, with Street Fighter 6 is on the way. They've released the trailer for it. I forget. I think they might have even released a release date. But maybe when Street Fighter 6 comes out, we'll get a little bit more content, maybe toy-wise, collectible-wise, things like that. So I'm hoping for that. But yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I missed, like I told you, for the SH Figuarts, that I was so late on that line that I missed all of those Street Fighter characters, and like you said, like right now they're very expensive.
It's crazy, because even I remember. So when I was pretty lucky, because I think I got in on the line just at an interesting time, because there's initially when they come out, and they come out at retail, and they're usually pretty hype at that point because they're new figures and people love new stuff. And they'll stay around retail for a little bit, at least at that point.
That's usually $70 to $90.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And so, it's a little easier to pick them up at that point. I didn't get in on the ground floor, though. I wasn't around when At least as far as my collecting goes, I wasn't collecting Figuarts at that point. And so when I was realizing just how passionate I am for Street Fighter, and I was looking into getting all the Figuarts figures, I don't know, like the market for them had kind of dipped actually a bit to where, yeah, nobody was really talking about the Figuarts figures. They weren't like super popular. And so I was able to scoop up Ryu for a really good price and Chun-Li. And I think at that point, yeah, they had just released Sagat and Bison. And so I was able to get those for retail. And then, yeah, the other ones, I was lucky enough that just through people I knew on Instagram, I was like, hey, is anyone selling these at a reasonable price? I was, I was out there with my basket begging for charity. Does anyone want to sell this for an okay price? And so, yeah, but I'm very blessed with lots of friends in the community who, they had their time with the figure, and they're like, yeah, if you're gonna enjoy it, like, here, I'll let it go to you for a decent price. And so backtracking for those wasn't as bad as I've looked at the prices now, like trying to backtrack, and I don't know why they got popular all of a sudden. But yeah, I think probably it's because companies like Mafex, like the comic book Mafex stuff, is very popular right now, and the SH Figuarts Street Fighter figures just scale super well with Mafex, with SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z, with Marvel Legends. With all your true 6-inch lines, the SH Figuarts Street Fighter figures are kind of your best bet for scaling wise, if you want to just display them all together. I know some people, they don't mix and match, so it doesn't matter. But I know for some people, the Storm collectible stuff, which I really love and do also collect, they are a little big for some people's taste because they run more like 8 to 9 to 10 inches tall.
So
it can look kind of out of place if you have, Chun-Li like towering over Captain America or something. It's just it's a little strange.
How many do you have from the Street Fighter? You have all of the main ones, right? Or
I have all of the main characters from. I can just turn around. We're just gonna.
Oh yeah, I would like to see
a small tour right here. I have all of them
sweet.
from the main line, just characters from Street Fighter 2 that I cared about. And so yeah, I have
nice.
Blanca, and
Vega
and Chun-Li and Bison.
Oh, Bison looks like a boss right there, dude. I like it.
No, I love it whenever SH Figuarts does the pre-crossed arms. Like they've done that with several versions of Vegeta, other characters from Dragon Ball Z. It's a really good look, because it's hard to get your figures to pose with natural crossed arms, and so when they just add the attachment, it just looks really intimidating. Ryu's probably this Ryu specifically. He's probably one of my favorite just figures of all time. I love this figure a lot. Sagat, got Ken, got Akuma back there.
Oh yeah,
and Cammy.
That classic pose for Akuma.
Yeah, no,
that's a classic pose for Akuma.
The back is turned, and
the back.
He has I forget what the kanji is, the little symbol that shows up on his back.
Oh, it means demon or something like that, no?
Yeah, it's like demon or death or something like that. It's really cool. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
And then these are my Storm collectibles figures. So we have Street Fighter 2 Guile. We have the new Zangief, which came out this year. He's an awesome figure. I love him. We have Street Fighter 2 Ryu. We have Street Fighter 2 Sagat, who is a beast of a figure. He's super beefy. And then we have Street Fighter 2 Ken. So that's a different in general.
That's a different brand, the top and bottom.
Yeah, so these ones up top are the SH Figuarts, and these are Storm collectibles. So for scaling, this Ryu is a standard 6-inch figure, close to like a Marvel Legend or general SH Figuarts. Here's the SH Figuarts Ryu next to the Storm collectibles Ryu. It's
Oh, I
quite
see. I see.
quite beefier, quite bulkier, a lot taller. I think
I
I think
wonder.
both figures are very good. But scaling wise, yeah, if you tried to put this guy next to some of your other 6-inch stuff, he'd look pretty big for
Yeah.
sure.
I wonder which, like right now, which is a little easier to get or to find. Is it the Storm?
That's a good question. I haven't looked at the market for the Storm Collectibles figures recently.
Uh huh.
I think, well, one, Storm Collectibles do run slightly more expensive at retail in general. So if like
Oh.
SH Figuarts run from, say, 60 to 100, somewhere in there, Storm Collectibles easily run from 90 to 130, 150 even, like around retail, depending on which figure it is. So they run a little pricier because you do get just more plastic. Like they're bigger. They usually come with more accessories. I just love Street Fighter so much that whenever I was trying to decide, oh, should I get Storm Collectibles or should I get SH Figuarts, I was
Uh huh.
like, for me, I can't really choose. I just love the property too much. I just need to collect both lines. So again, it's easier now since actually Figuarts hasn't announced a new Street Fighter character in years, and so we were
Hmm.
wondering if that line is just dead, even though the figures are so great and everybody loves them. So right now, if you want to be collecting current Street Fighter figures, you just have to collect Storm Collectibles because they have
Yeah.
plans to kind of at least complete the Street Fighter 2 lineup and maybe even the Street Fighter 5 or 4 lineup. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if I buy one of the Street Fighters, I'm gonna have to buy at least the main ones. You know.
No, yeah, like if you can't have well, like you get Ryu, and you're like, oh great, I have
Uh-huh.
Ryu, but I can't have Ryu without Ken,
Yeah.
and you're like, I can't have Ken without Chun Li, I can't have Chun Li without Guile, and I
Yeah.
need a villain, so I gotta have Bison, so it's just it's the snowball effect, and soon you're
Yeah.
out of money and out of space, and just happens to
It
be that.
happens. It happens. Yeah, because I definitely wanna get. But like I said, even if I buy just one, I mean, I can have one for a little while and then try to get a few more. Like I think
Mhm.
I don't know if I still have it on my watch list, but I found the Sagat on eBay. But I was
Yeah.
just watching. I was just watching it. I don't know if it's still there.
Hmm.
It was used,
Hmm.
and I think the guy was asking around $80 or something like that.
That's pretty
Which,
close to retail.
yeah,
That's pretty close.
and it's like in the package and everything. It's like in
Yeah.
mint condition. So, but I don't know if it's still there. Like it's been months since I saw it, and I just was
Hmm.
keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to grab it. But
I
I
Yeah,
no.
I think they're great figures, regardless of which company you go with. But yeah, the figure arts figures are phenomenal. Again, the only hard thing for me to encourage people to buy them is that there's just no guarantee that the line is going to continue, right? Like, so if someone's like, "Oh, I want to get the definitive Street Fighter display," it's like, well, pretty much what I have on my shelf, it might be as far as we're gonna get. We don't know, just because. I mean, before Sagat and Bison came out, there was at least 2 years of silence from SH Figuarts on the figures. Like Ken and Ryu and Akuma and Cammy and Chun Li were already out, and Blanca and all that. And then it was like
Oh,
we didn't hear a word, and we were like, oh, I guess the line's done. And then they did Bison and Sagat, and so we're like, oh, I guess the line's not done. But even since they came out, I think it's been at least 2, maybe 3 years, maybe.
so
So,
Balrog is not out.
mm-mm.
No.
Storm
Oh.
Collectibles, the bigger,
Uh
beefier
huh.
company, they just announced their version of Balrog.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I pre-ordered that immediately because I was like, oh man, I have to
Yeah.
get that, So, yeah, we'll see if eventually the Storm Collectibles line, overtakes the SH Figuarts line, um, as far as how many characters they make. Because yeah, right now they've done characters that SH Figuarts hasn't done, they've done Guile, and SH Figuarts hasn't done Guile, and he's one of the most popular and important characters, I'd say. And Storm Collectibles did E Honda, you know, everyone's favorite sumo wrestler. And so, yeah, we'll see how far the line goes. But pretty much I'm just committed to, if they make it, I will get it. Just for that line though, you know, because I don't collect everything, you know, I can't afford to collect everything. And so you gotta kind of focus in on what you really like, on what you're gonna go all in on, and what you're gonna, like, you know, not
Let
go
it
all
go.
in
Yeah.
on. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Because one issue is like money. Another issue is the space.
Yeah.
And another issue is like how to display them properly. Yeah, it's always something.
No, it's a whole thing. I just got these shelves in finally after months of trying to figure out how to do the display. And it's still a work in progress. You know, I'm still selling off some things here that I don't really think I need, and I'm still hunting for other things that I think will round out the collection a bit more. Yeah, now I'm considering, like, okay, what do I do if I want like better lighting in the room and stuff, and you know, just getting it to a place where I'm comfortable in my geek room, to create the things I want to create, do the things I want to do. But yeah, I'm actually very happy right now with where my collection is, just because it feels very clean and tidy. I feel like it has plenty of room to breathe if I do want to get more figures. And so yeah, I'm actually very happy with where it is right now, even though it is technically a smaller collection than I think I've had in a while, because I have been just selling off a lot of stuff. And it's felt good.
Yeah.
It's felt good to have a good kind of spring cleaning, you know, just kind of be like, I loved this stuff for a while, but I think it's time for someone else to have it, because, you know, it's just taking up space at this point. So.
And you still have the boxes, right? I think I've seen you on Instagram, like when you sell them, they have a box, most of them.
Yeah. So I didn't used to be this way. When I was a young collector, I always threw my boxes away. But now I keep almost every box. Just because, not because I care about the boxes, but because if I ever do sell it, I know that there are other collectors who do care about the boxes. You know, that either because they just want the figure to, you know, be safe in shipping, or some people like to display things in boxes, you know, and that can be a really cool display option as well. And so it just, I feel like in general, my stuff tends to sell better / faster if I just have, if I have the box with it, you know, because then people are just more inclined to feel like it's a safe purchase if it just looks like everything's together and it's there, and it, you know, because when you buy a loose figure, like, you can get a good deal, and it can be a very good transaction, or it can be a nightmare. You know, you get a loose figure and, like, you don't realize, oh, this thing's like broken, or it's like it reeks of smoke, or it, like, you know, something like that. You just never know sometimes with the loose figure. So now I keep all my boxes. I didn't used to, but now I do.
And you can ask for more money if you have the original boxes.
No, yeah,
so
it's like,
that's another plus.
As a collectible, like, it's just it's usually just in better condition. If either it was, because I do have some stuff that I told myself I would never be this way, like, where I would buy stuff and not open it. I've never understood that, but I do have a couple of things in my closet that I bought that I still have not opened, and I was like, oh gosh, like, now I'm at the point where it's like, okay, do I open it or do I just sell it? Because it's more valuable if I just leave it closed, you know. And I told myself I'd never put myself in this position, but here I am. So make that.
I have a few things that I still in the box, but I open it just to touch it, because I have no,
pull it out, inspect, put it back.
Because I had no intentions. To selling it. That's why I open it.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the Funko Pops. Those are better. Those are better to stock in the box. It's better to accommodate and display them in the box. So
yeah. No, yeah, it's, and I mean, like, even if you open a Funko Pop, like, just the way that they're packaged, they're not packaged with, like, tape, you know, so there's not like a seal you have to break. You can't open it and put it back in the box without, like, messing it up or anything, and the value will still hold and stuff. So I used to have a lot of Funko Pops, not a lot, but I used to collect Funko Pops. I did just recently give them to a friend of mine who actually collects Funko Pops. I was just like, you know what, you actually collect these. I just need to free up some more space so you can just have my. It was all Star Wars stuff because I'm obsessed with Star
Okay.
Wars. So I just kind of
Yeah.
gave him extra Star Wars stuff, and that felt good too.
That's another thing. Funko Pops. That's another thing. It took me a while to buy my first one because for the same reason, they're more affordable, and they're just too many of them. And if you want to start a collection, I mean, you're gonna run out of room really fast.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're I think, yeah, if you can get them retail, they're very cost effective. They're very charming and cute. And their style is just, I think the genius of Funko Pops is their ability to translate any character in their style, but you still immediately know like who it is for the most part, you know, even though the characters have like 2 features on their face. It's like their hair and their eyes. That's all they have, you know, but like, but yeah, you know, like if you just want some sort of representation of your favorite character on the shelf and you don't want to buy a hot toy or something, like, oh yeah, just get the Funko Pop and you can get like several of them, stack them on top of each other if you have the boxes, you know, somewhat space efficient, but yeah. And I know the market for those can just go absolutely insane. Like you can buy a Funko Pop and then its value can skyrocket or like plummet. You know, it's like the stock market almost. It's crazy. Like it's just Funko Pop specifically, it's just so unpredictable.
You know which one? You know, most recently, one that was really difficult to get. It was a Target exclusive. Eddie from Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah.
And it was a Target exclusive, and it sold out, I believe, the same day.
I believe.
And obviously, I found them on eBay. Obviously, way more, over $100.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. It was one of my friends. He also collects. Actually, I did a video with him. He lives down in Mexico. He has a really nice collection. He's huge into Star Wars. So he texted me. He's like, "Hey, have you seen this one? It's a Target exclusive, and there are no Targets in Mexico, as far as I know. Like they're Walmarts, but they're not Targets." And I was like, so he showed me the picture, and then I was Googling on the Target app, and it was sold out everywhere. So the only place to find it was on eBay or Amazon, you know, and it was that ridiculously priced. The prices were still very, 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 very expensive. But I'm like, oh, and he's like, he sold out the same day. I don't know.
You just never know, you know, because sometimes you'll be like, oh, this collectible or this figure or this piece, it's safe to wait on, you know, I'll get it later when it's out. I don't need to pre-order it. And then that's the one that ends up like doubling, tripling in price. And then other times, like they'll announce a new collectible and you'll be like, oh, I'm going to pre-order this one. I'm going to get it. Maybe not even necessarily because you want it, but because you think it's going to be a hot ticket item, you know, and then you get it and then you watch as like its value doesn't increase at all and it stays the same. And you're just like, I guess I don't know how to play this game the way other people do because it just doesn't seem to work out, you know.
It comes down to luck by then.
It's gambling in the end. It is true.
Yeah.
Collectors gambling.
Since you mentioned like a little while ago, you mentioned hot toys. Yes. I wanna see if you can show me like the ones that I know you got hot toys, but I wanna see your favorite or the most precious ones.
My most precious pieces, yeah, of course. So for hot toys right now, it's exclusively Star Wars for official hot toys pieces. But for 1/6 scale in general, I have lots of the other thing I'm very passionate about is video games because of my PlayStation, and so I have lots of third-party, awesome quality 1/6 scale video game pieces. And so I mean I can show off a couple of those just because. But if I had to pick, probably my favorite 1/6 scale collectible in general, it's probably this Return of the Jedi Boba Fett with the
Oh
Sarlacc
yeah.
pit stand. Because yeah, I mean,
Nice.
you don't even have to like Star Wars to think this is cool. It's just such an awesome
It
piece. Like
is cool.
it looks like a statue, and I actually
Yeah.
love the diorama base like this. Because
Uh-huh.
nowadays I actually don't display my 6 scale figures with bases anymore, just because in general, I don't know. I think depending on the base design, it can look a little, I don't know, look a little weird, a little corny, a little cheesy.
Yeah.
But if they ever go the full route, which is full diorama, I love that.
Uh-huh.
So things like I
Yeah.
love it when they just kind of put a piece of the environment in the piece. So this one is probably my favorite. Definitely of the Star Wars pieces, probably just overall. Because yeah, Star Wars was just something I grew up with because my mom's brother was, he saw Star Wars when it first came out. He was obsessed with it, and so he pretty much raised us on Star Wars. My uncle. I inherited that from him, and so I'm obsessed with it forever. My next piece that I really love is my Rogue One Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You don't have to be a fan of Star Wars to just know who Vader is, to know how
Yep.
important, how scary, how just how influential of a character he is. And so having this figure is just kind of encapsulates everything I love about Star Wars in general. Just Vader is kind of the face of Star Wars, I feel like. So yeah, that's another piece that I really, really love. And then next, probably we're gonna have to give it to Hot Toys Commander Cody.
There you go.
From the Clone Wars.
Oh, I still need to see those animated Star Wars. I haven't seen anything animated yet.
Oh man, yeah, the Clone Wars series is outstanding. It's incredible. It really is. I think some of the best Star Wars content, especially for people who maybe don't like the prequel trilogy. Just based on I think movie direction and cinema craft. I think those movies are a little weaker in general.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I still love Star Wars overall, so I still love the prequels, but the prequels do have just a lot in world building and the expansion of the universe that is really cool, that I think the animated stuff just does really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
After Cody, it's probably, well, I'll just show both of these guys together. They go hand in hand. Anakin,
yeah.
Obi-Wan. Both of these I think are some of Hot Toys' best work as far as just the likenesses and the sculpt, and it just looks so much like Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Having them together truly just is something super special. So I love both of those quite a lot.
You're a good poser.
I think that was another thing. One of my decisions to not display them with their stands, just because sometimes with this, like the stands, right? It's mainly the main crotch grabber stands. Those are good because your figures are safe; they're not going to fall over or anything. But usually those stands are only so wide, and so you can't get like some of those wider poses without one of their feet just being off the stand. And I don't know, I just kind of like the way that it looks when, if you're confident enough and you're confident they're not going to take a dive off the shelf, just giving them some more of a dynamic pose.
Yeah.
So then over here we have all the video game stuff, which man, we got Kratos from God of War over here.
Yeah, I still need to beat that game.
It's an awesome game. The second one is coming out soonish. I think it comes out in November.
Are you gonna get it? Are you gonna get it right away? Maybe.
I think that's one of the ones I will probably get.
Okay.
It's very close to release, if not like as soon as it does drop.
Yeah.
And my favorite boy, Nathan Drake from Uncharted. So these are actually my favorite games of all time. This the games I've played the most on my PlayStation. It's the ones I always go back to play again. So Nathan Drake is probably, just as a character, as a franchise, it's my favorite of them all. Mm-hmm. But while we were talking about The Last of Us, here we have Joel, our guy, old Joel.
The brick, I like that brick right there.
Yeah, the best weapon in the game. model. It's the brick.
Screen accurate.
Got his revolver. Yeah, the
Yeah.
sculpt on this one is just incredible. It's so good. We got some Hitman down here. Agent 47. Looking very clean. Metal Gear Solid is another franchise that I'm obsessed with. I can't get enough of it. So, big boss from the Phantom Pain. I don't know if you're into The Witcher at all. I love The Witcher 3. Geralt.
I haven't played the game, but I've seen like the first season, and I'm not done with the second season. But I heard the games are really good. I haven't played the games yet.
Yeah. No, I've only played the third game. It's the game most people have played because it was the first one released on consoles. So if you want to even play the first two games, you have to get a PC and play them that way. But The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is just one of the best games I think ever made. And we have Ezio from Assassin's Creed, just a very iconic video game character. And a really cool franchise that I'm kind of delving into. Again, I'm coming into it very late, but really enjoying those. Then we have Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, I have that game, but I haven't played it. I know it's a long game. I done maybe like 10%.
It's super long. It's hard finding the time for it, especially when you're like me and you're obsessed with it and you want to play it again. I've played it twice now. And already I was like, man, I want to play it again. And I'm like, but I don't have that kind of time. I can't just sink another 80 hours into playing Red Dead again. So
that's a long game.
Yeah, these two are probably my favorite pieces. Kind of similar to like the Boba Fett because they have the full diorama bases. I just think it just creates this awesome kind of statuesque look. So this is Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
I didn't recognize him. Yeah, it's a PlayStation exclusive samurai style game. It comes with little foxes, which in the game lead you to the different shrines. He's got all his sort of armor and things that a samurai / shinobi would need, and he has his clan flag on the back there. He's got his mask up there.
I heard positive stuff about that game, Ghost of Tsushima. Is that
Ghost of Tsushima? Yeah, it's one of my favorite games ever. I never 100% games. Like I'll usually just play through the main story, and then that'll be that. But for Ghost of Tsushima, I 100%ed it just because I loved it that much. It's one of the very few games that I've done that with. I don't normally do that. And then here we have Sekiro from Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, another samurai themed game. He has this awesome little Buddha statue, like flame coming out of it. This kind of tree-based little shrine thing. And he has this awesome prosthetic arm that you get in the game. It's made out of like rope and bone and other crazy things. And he has a kind of an axe that sits on that arm that he can use. And
is that a hot toy or is it a third party?
So these are all third-party figures.
Okay.
Except for Kratos is by Mondo, actually. And then Ezio is by Damn Toys.
Okay.
Companies that actually have the licenses, but they still only do like one-off characters from certain things. Like Mondo is known for they released the 1/6 scale Batman animated series stuff. I don't know if you've seen any of that. They did the 1/6 scale animated series Batman and Mr. Freeze, and I think they have another one on the way at some point. And who's
gonna make those again?
It's Mondo. It's Mondo. They're kind of into random stuff. Yeah, they did Kratos, and then they do animated series, and they did most recently they did a 1/6 scale Iron Giant, which is really cool. I have the old ones they did, the 16-inch one.
I never heard about that one. I wrote it down just to look it up later. that brand. Uh-huh. I don't hear you anymore.
Am I cutting out?
Okay, now I hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Mondo is just into all sorts of cool, crazy things.
Uh-huh.
They always are changing up the formula, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's pretty much my whole 6-scale collection.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I have, I mean, of course, always growing, always changing. The focus right now is Star Wars stuff, but with Hot Toys coming for my nostalgia, they announced the Mark III Iron Man, which I have to get. I have to get it. I am compelled by law to get that figure because my favorite, I think maybe, well, it's definitely my top 10. One of my favorite comic book movies ever is the first Iron Man movie. It is flawless in my mind. I absolutely adore it. I can watch it anytime. And so the Mark III armor is just, in my mind, probably like my favorite one because that movie is my favorite. And so yeah, hopefully I'll be getting into more superhero Hot Toys. So I want that Iron Man, the new Christian Bale Batman that they did recently, from Dark Knight Rises.
I think I saw pictures.
Yeah, they just did a re-release of that. So I hope to get that at some point. And then
yeah,
the Spider-Man No Way Home, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Oh, it looks so good.
I saw it. Yeah, but that's
isn't like base and everything.
Isn't like $500 or something?
Yeah, it's something crazy. I think because of the base. Like the base is just so big. It's like it's gonna be a heavy box.
I saw it. And the resemblance of Tobey Maguire is really uncanny. At least to me. I show it to some people and they were like, "That looks a little funky." I'm like, "I don't think so."
I don't know. It looks like he was shrunk down to 12 inches, and that's
that's what it looks like, right?
Maguire.
Yeah, I saw the pictures and I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty cool." You know, that was my first Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire. He's my favorite to this day. I like Andrew Garfield. I like Tom Holland, but Tobey Maguire is like where my heart truly lies. Who my heart truly belongs to. For Spider-Man, anyway.
Yeah. No, there's a pretty nice collection, dude.
No, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It's it's again always changing, always growing. At any moment, I could be like, time to sell this off and get something else. But I was trying to focus. Again, I had to kind of focus in on things just so I wasn't spending money all the time, So I made the rule for right now of like we're gonna focus on Star Wars and video game stuff, and when that's at a good stopping point, then maybe I'll get into the superhero thing. Maybe branch out. I've flirted with the idea of getting statues. That's the real danger that I'm on because as the tiers go up, there's like you have your Funko Pops, your Marvel Legends, your collectibles, and then there's SH Figuarts and Figma and Mezco, and then above that there's Hot Toys, and above all that is statues, right? Like statues and busts and the crazy like museum pieces that you either buy one of those statues or you make a down payment on a car. You can choose one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I hear you. The statues are, those are like top notch. Those are really expensive, but some of them are really, 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 really cool. Like I think there is one that I want. Probably I won't get it. It would be nice. It's maybe you saw it. It's also on Sideshow. It's the Heath Ledger's Joker when he's sitting on the bench.
He's
clapping.
He's like clapping.
He's in prison. Yeah, I think it comes with 2 removable arms. One is clapping. The other one is like with the hands on his legs, on his knees, on the lap. I like that one, dude. I would like
Yeah.
to have it right behind me.
No, yeah, like I think a reasonable goal for me is to get just maybe one statue, just one piece, and maybe even like shifts through, right? Like the beautiful thing about statues is that more than any other collectible, I think they do hold their value,
Mhm.
and increase in value. It's just the nature of those in general, just because they are actual pieces of art at that point. Like they are just
Yeah,
big, heavy, painted, sculpted, beautifully crafted things, and it's super expensive to ship as well. And so they just hold their value very well. So if I
yeah.
one that I was really looking at was the Prime One Studio um, Jim Lee Hush Batman that they just did, like the Batcave version. He's just very stoically kind of walking in the
Uh-huh.
Batcave with like his hand on his cape and stuff. And it's an enormous, like 1/3 scale piece. I'd have to like remove 2 of those shelves back there just to fit it in the room. But as a centerpiece, yeah, it would be amazing. And if I ever, felt I didn't need it, I could probably sell it off for a
More.
similar amount or more, and then get a
Mhm.
different statue to replace it with.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll probably in the near future, definitely not like just have enough space to display multiple statues or even have the money to do that. But I think I could maybe get one, like maybe one cool piece, and then kind of rotate it out if I ever
Yeah.
feel the need to. But yeah, they are absolutely stupendous. Like they're breathtaking. It's crazy what some people can do.
Yeah. No, no, yeah, that one, that Joker. I mean, he's my favorite live action Joker. Heath
Yeah,
Ledger. He was,
same.
so he is. So I
Yeah.
would, if I were to get a statue, that would be it. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
that's like a
That's,
full body. You know, I like that. He's a full body. He's sitting down.
yeah,
Uh,
no, it's so
that
good.
that would be a really Christmas gift or Father's Day gift.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this year.
Or Labor Day gift.
Yeah, why not? St. Patrick's Day. What's around the corner?
Yeah, but no, dude, that would be awesome. Oh, I wanted to play this game like
Okay,
before we wrap it up.
sure.
Well, I guess it's a game or not, but
Yeah.
so what it's about? It's I'm gonna say a name,
Okay.
either it's a person or a fictional character
Yeah.
or a show,
Hmm.
a title that would be a title, right?
Yeah.
And then you're just gonna tell me whatever comes to mind first.
Okay. Okay.
So it could be a moment, it could be a scene, it could be whatever comes to mind when you hear this.
Okay.
Uh, maybe nothing comes to mind. No, we're gonna find out.
All right. No, this sounds good. I'm ready to play. Let's do it.
All right, sweet. Okay, so the first one is James Cameron. What comes to mind with James Cameron?
James Cameron. First thing is Terminator.
There
In
you
high
go.
school, I did a speech on the Terminator films. That was the first speech I ever gave.
Oh, really? How did
Um,
it go?
I got an A on the assignment, so
Oh,
that
nice.
part went well. I'm not sure if anyone in the class actually cared about what I had to say, but I just love the way that the first Terminator film came into
Uh-huh.
being because one, like James Cameron got the idea for the Terminator because I think he got like food poisoning somewhere and he like fell asleep in a hotel room and he had like a fever dream where he saw like a metal skeleton among flames and like
I
from
didn't know
that
that, really.
no yeah from that fever dream he like wrote the script for Terminator.
Mm.
And then even that movie, like James Cameron was kind of a nobody at that point still, and so they had like a shoestring budget, like a very small budget. It was still one of Arnold's first films. They were able to get him, um, luckily, but yeah, it was still. And even watching it now, it still feels kind of a little clunky, maybe a little unpolished, but it's so much more than like the sum of its parts. And so, like
Yeah.
I think in the final scene when it showed like after the Terminator's been crushed by the press and it shows like his eye, right before it goes out and there's like smoke coming up. one of the fun
Mm-hmm.
facts I learned for the speech was that they were completely out of money at that point. And so literally that scene is filmed with like a tiny little like dollar laser light. And literally someone was smoking a cigarette underneath the shot to make the smoke. And then
Wow, I didn't
Kyle
know that.
Reese, he dies at the end of the film, and they put him in a
What?
body
Spoiler.
bag. Yeah, spoiler for the 40-year-old movie.
Yeah.
They put him in a body bag, but again, they had no money, so they didn't have an actual body bag prop. They literally just took a black trash bag and like put it over his head for the final scene before they cart him away. But again, you'd never know that just because of old movie making magic and tricks. And so Terminator is what I love Avatar. I love all of James Cameron's work, honestly. He can do no wrong in my eyes, but Terminator, the first one, is what comes to my mind when I think of James Cameron.
That's interesting. Do you remember which subject was that class?
I think it was a speech class. It was just a class about giving speeches, and so we always had to prepare notes and go off the cuff. And so that was my first one that I gave. Though I asked the teacher if I could, because I think the parameters of the first speech were pretty lenient. It was like just talk about whatever you want. And so I had to ask her, like, is it okay if I talk about the making of the Terminator movies? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. So long as you do research and provide evidence and all that stuff, then you're good. And I was like, awesome. So.
And you aced it.
Yeah, it was great.
You aced it. Yeah. Okay. What about, for the next one, this one is, it can be in different categories, but again, whatever comes to mind first. Daredevil.
Daredevil. It's got to be Charlie Cox.
All right.
The Netflix series definitely is what kickstarted my love for Daredevil. I'd known about him. When I got into comic books, it was DC mainly, just Batman for the most part.
Yeah.
And it branched out slightly. It was like, okay, Nightwing, okay, Batgirl, okay, Superman, okay, Green Lantern, okay. And then eventually it was that all DC stuff. And after I read all the DC stuff, I was like, okay, let's give Marvel a try. And I'd grown up with the X-Men movies, so I was like, okay, let's read Wolverine and X-Men. And then I got into Hawkeye and Punisher and all these other characters. And because of Punisher, actually, I got into Daredevil comic book wise. But my true main love for Daredevil didn't come about until the Netflix series with Charlie Cox. And I still like the Ben Affleck Daredevil. I do like the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Absolutely. I love that movie.
I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I still like it a lot.
No, go ahead.
No, but I think that the Netflix series really did just blow me and pretty much everyone away with its just grittiness, its realism, and Charlie Cox's performance as well is so brilliant. Gosh, I'm blanking on his name, but Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin is outstanding. It's one of the best villain performances I think we've gotten probably since Heath Ledger, Joker. So Charlie Cox and people in Netflix.
Yeah, I do like that Daredevil movie. I would just get rid of that scene in the playground, that little fight.
Yeah.
And if you remember that scene, I think the movie will be like almost ideal.
No, I think it works great, and I even like Colin Farrell as Bullseye even.
Oh yeah,
because some people had a problem with the design, but he actually does wear an outfit exactly like that in the comics, just kind of basic trench coat with the bullseye on his forehead,
and I like he always does that, right? When he throws or whatever.
And the toothpick thing that happens in the comics, like his interaction with Elektra right before spoiler alert, before he kills her, with like the cards and everything, like that scene is almost word for word exactly how Frank Miller wrote it in Elektra's original death. Yeah, like So, and again, like I'm a big source material guy, so like
Yeah.
that movie gets tons of points for me because even just because of that, because like okay, they did their homework and they did it, you know, the way that it originally was, and I love it for that reason. So, I
Yeah.
also just I like Ben Affleck too. I do just like Ben Affleck. So,
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I like that movie a lot. More than most people, because most people don't like it. I do like it a lot. Yeah.
yeah.
So and Charlie Cox. That's the first time. That's how I was introduced to Charlie Cox through
Yeah.
that show. Through that show.
No, I'd never seen him in anything. It's funny. My wife, she never finished Daredevil. It was a little too dark for her.
Uh-huh.
But when she sees Charlie Cox, she's like, "Hey, that's the guy from Stardust," which is an old like fantasy movie with Robert De
Uh-huh.
Niro and crazy big cast that I've never seen, but she always talks about it, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
what's Daredevil doing in this fantasy movie? You know, but that one he was in that first. I think that was his first movie actually. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great show, dude. All the three
yeah,
seasons. I ended up buying the DVDs, or I mean the
yeah.
Blu-rays, because when I heard about leaving Netflix or whatever, I'm like, okay, if he's gonna leave Netflix,
How are we gonna watch it? Yeah.
how am I gonna watch it? So I was like,
Yeah.
so I bought the Blu-rays, but now it's on Disney Plus, I believe, right?
Yeah. It
Okay,
is.
yeah.
It is on Disney Plus, luckily, so you can still watch it that way.
Uh-huh.
But no, I think it is totally a show worth owning, though. Like it's that good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so the next one, Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. So actually, so yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is Good Will Hunting,
Uh-huh.
because that's the first. I don't know if that's the first. That probably isn't the first movie that I saw him in. But it is the first. I think the first movie I saw him in actually was Paycheck. If you've ever seen that,
Oh, with Jennifer
it's
Lopez.
a pretty fun movie.
It was Jennifer Lopez, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
saw it
pretty
in
good one.
theaters,
Yeah, it's a good. I like that one. I like that one a
and
lot.
I watched that one in. That's my first and last movie I ever got to see in theaters in New Mexico. I was in New Mexico that
Uh-huh.
December.
Wow, there it is, Paycheck and Ben Affleck. But yeah, so that was probably the first movie I saw him in. But you know, the first movie I saw him in where I was like, oh, this is Ben Affleck, like the actor, and like
Uh-huh.
recognizing him is definitely Good Will Hunting. And Good Will Hunting was also, I think, one of those formative films for me, along with Gladiator. I watched them around the same time. I was in high school, and it was kind of that first kind of step up. When I was in middle school, I think I was going into high school, and it was that first step up for me from just like, oh, movies are just things that I put on and they're kind of on in the background and I like them, to like, wow, like cinema is art, you know.
Yeah.
Like Good Will Hunting was the movie, and Gladiator were the movies that like broke that realization in me of like, wow, this can be something truly spectacular and meaningful and powerful. And yeah, like even going back, I still think like Good Will Hunting is some of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's like just most genuine acting and performance. Like it's one of my favorites. It's such a good story. And I actually haven't seen it in years now. I've only watched it twice, I think. So I'm due for a rewatch of Good Will Hunting.
All right. So what about what comes to mind first? Jack Black.
Jack Black. First thing comes to mind is Kung Fu Panda. Whenever that movie first came out, my family, we all went to go see it together, and we became obsessed with it. Like that was like one of our classic family movies after it came out on DVD that we would just watch all the time was Kung Fu Panda. Jack Black is just such a funny, energetic, crazy actor. I pretty much like anything that he's done, for sure. But yeah, definitely. I mean, Nacho Libre is an absolute classic.
I love that one, dude. I love Nacho Libre.
Like Tenacious D. I've never even seen the movies with Tenacious D, but I know about all the songs because of friends of mine who play the guitar, and all they would play was Tenacious D songs, and it's just so funny to me. I'm like, that's hilarious. But
Tenacious D and the and what's the name of the movie?
The Pick of Destiny, I think.
The pick of the something with the guitar pick, right? With the pick of this, yeah. It's weird.
Nice. Yeah, he's outstanding. He's awesome.
All right. So what about Alfred Hitchcock?
Alfred Hitchcock. So I actually have not seen a single Hitchcock film at all.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But the thing that comes to mind is Rear Window, because that movie has been recommended to me probably more times than any other Hitchcock film, and I have it sitting on a shelf out there in the living room waiting for me to watch with my wife. But we've just been not that we don't want to watch it, it's just that there's always something else we were wanting to watch. Like right now we're working through all the Predator movies, and so it just keeps getting pushed back, but we will watch Rear Window at some point. I had a roommate in college who was obsessed with Alfred Hitchcock, and so he had all of his movies, and he really liked Psycho and things like that. And so, but yeah, Rear Window, I think, is one that I'm very interested in seeing, and I literally have out there ready to see, so I have no excuse. I just need to go watch it.
Probably after the Predator and Alien franchise.
Yeah, that'll be a good way to end it all.
It's a good movie. I think it's gonna be. I've seen it only one time. I also own it, but it's gonna be worth your time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this one it can be different categories. So whatever hits you first. Superman.
Yeah, Superman for me was defined by two things growing up. One is the old, I think his name is Tim Fleischer. It was the really old, the original Superman animated kind of cartoons. They were like, I forget how long they were. I think they were maybe only 10 minutes long, and there wasn't much in terms of story. But there were these beautiful little, kind of hand painted animated things that eventually paved the way for things like the Batman animated series and the Justice League shows. Those, I think it's Tim Fleischer. Maybe his first name may be different. But yeah, the Fleischer animated Superman shorts, you should definitely look those up, because they are just these beautiful little time capsules of kind of comic book Superman just kind of come to life. Because again, there wasn't usually a lot in terms of story. It was usually just some disaster was happening and Superman would fly in to save the day. But I think the animation for those old cartoons holds up better, I think, than some stuff that even came out years later. And then, the other thing that comes to mind for Superman definitively for me is, just Tim Daly's performance in the Superman animated series and the Justice League animated show. And I know that he didn't voice Superman for all of the Justice League show. I know they switched voice actors somewhere in there. That's another thing about me. I love voice actors. Like, voice actors are some of my favorite performers, and I love getting into the nitty and gritty of what makes good voice acting. But Tim Daly's Superman, I think, kind of in the same way a lot of people read comic book Batman as Kevin Conroy. Like, Tim Daly's Superman, when I read Superman comics, I hear his voice in my head to this day. So I love Christopher Reeve, I love Henry Cavill, but Tim Daly's probably my Superman.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm just plugging the laptop. Okay, so what about Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee, it's got to be Enter. I think it's Enter the Dragon. That was the first Bruce Lee movie I ever watched. Also, just him as a person was so fascinating. I remember when I first got into just old action movie heroes and stuff. Bruce Lee, just his philosophy for living, and his legacy, his martial arts, were just some of the coolest things. Even to this day, there's lots of people who are still inspired by Bruce Lee.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Jeet Kune Do, just the fact that it's his creation, or I guess variation of Wing Chun. the intercepting fist, as it's called, it's just such a cool idea. And I love pretty much any version of Bruce Lee that makes it into other popular media. So like
Mhm.
in Street Fighter, Fei Long is one of my favorite characters because he's just Bruce Lee in that
Yeah,
universe. He's an
yeah,
actor who's a kung fu warrior and stuff, and I'm like, it's just Bruce Lee. And there's lots of Bruce Lee clones in fighting games that just show his impact on the world of martial arts, the world of combat sports.
yeah,
But yeah, that all started for me with Enter the Dragon. Um, so yeah, that's what comes to
yeah.
mind first.
Cool. Um, the Lord of the Rings.
Mm, man, so it's
That's
funny.
a
My wife and I just finished watching them. I mean, we've seen them many times, but we just did a watch through of them last week.
okay.
And so we just finished Return of the King the other night. Um, and yeah, those movies, they're so good. They're so powerful. They're definitely one of the most moving, I think,
Mhm.
pieces of media for me. Definitely by the time you get to Return of the King, there's several moments in that movie where I just start crying. Which isn't saying much, just because I'm always looking for an opportunity to cry. I actually am a big crier. In general. I know some people aren't that way. That's okay.
Uh,
Everyone's different. But I'm a big crier, so I always cry at just several scenes in Return of the King. And so I guess I don't know. I don't know what comes to mind when someone says Lord of the Rings. I guess but my first picture is usually Gandalf.
yeah. All
I
right.
think Ian McKellen's performance and just the character of Gandalf, I think epitomizes not only the fantasy of the world, but also like the goodness, sort of that goodness versus evil. And like lots of characters represent that. Like Samwise obviously represents goodness, and Aragorn, represents that as well. But I think Gandalf sort of is the full. He's a wizard. He's a warrior. He's a father figure. I think he really does epitomize a lot of the series and its emotional moments for me personally.
Yeah.
Uh,
Has wisdom, experience.
no, he's amazing. And
Yeah.
when I was watching it as a kid, one of my favorite things about him was that even though he's this ancient old man wizard, he's still out there with a sword, like hacking down orcs with everybody else. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, dude, Gandalf is the strongest. He's so great.
I
Gandalf is so awesome.
yeah, dude. Have you seen the hot toy for Gandalf?
Yeah, it's
The hot
by
toy.
Asmus. It looks so
Is
good.
it? Is it not? Or maybe it's not a hot toy, but it is a 1/6 scale.
There's a I know. So Sideshow is releasing or released a statue, and then I think Sideshow also does have a partnership with Asmus Collectibles, who does all the Lord of the
Okay.
Rings 1/6 scale stuff.
Okay, so yeah, so
And
then it is. That's the one that saw.
is it the one with the rooted hair and like the real beard?
Yep,
That thing
it's
looks
really cool.
crazy good. It looks
Yeah.
so
Oh
good.
yeah.
I
I
actually
would like.
almost bought it when it first came out.
Uh
But I was making my rule of like, no, I have to stick to Star Wars and video game stuff, or I'll buy
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
one day I'll get around
I
to
know.
getting it off because he looks so good.
I have that one on my wish list right now. I couldn't get it or pre-order it or whatever because I got other things already on the list.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, but no, it's a beautiful figure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. First thing, it's probably just kind of cliche because I'm such a Batman fan, but his Batman movies influenced not only just me, because I mean my whole collecting hobby and everything. So much of who I am today was changed in the same time that Batman Begins and Dark Knight had kind of come out. It was between those years that I was getting into comic books. It was when I read my first comic book, which was Batman Hush, which is my favorite book I've ever read. And that was what made me obsessed with Batman. And Batman Begins had been out for like a year or two. And I saw that movie and I was like, oh, this is so awesome. I love, let's read some more Batman books. And I read more Batman books. And then The Dark Knight came out and that movie was amazing. And then just further, increased my love for Batman. And so my very first action figure that I bought with my own money, as in middle school, was it was a Mattel figure of Christian Bale Batman from The Dark Knight Rises. And so literally the first piece in my whole collection was that figure. And so again, I am a huge Christopher Nolan fan. Like I love all of his movies. And my favorite movie of his probably isn't even any of the Batman movies. My favorite movie of Christopher Nolan's is definitely Memento. Like, I love Memento so much. But his work on the Batman films and just what those mean to me, and even my friends in college. Like in college, my friends and I would quote those movies specifically, and Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, like all the time. Like it was always one of those three trilogies were just always in our brain. It was either Star Wars or Batman or Lord of the Rings. And so, yeah, Christopher Nolan and Batman, synonymous in my mind.
Synonymous. All right. Mandalorian.
Man, dude, Mandalorian. First thing I think that comes to mind is actually Jon Favreau, because he is. I mean, he's not the only person responsible for why it's good. Like, obviously, it's not just any one person. Like, it's not just Pedro Pascal. It's not just Jon Favreau. It's not just. It's not. It takes a collaboration of many incredible individuals to make something work. But sort of him being the spearhead. Like I remember years ago, before we knew that it was even going to be called The Mandalorian or anything, all we heard was like these whispers that Jon Favreau was working on his own Star Wars show, and that was all we knew. We didn't know anything else. And then eventually people were theorizing like, oh, it's probably going to be like a Boba Fett show or something, or it's going to be this or that. And then we got that first teaser, just a picture of Mando in his original armor, like leaning up against the wall or something. And all it was revealed is like, oh, it's going to be called The Mandalorian. And that's all we know. We had that picture. And Jon Favreau is like writing and producing and things like that. And even in those few years, just knowing about that and realizing like, oh, wow, like Star Wars is going to continue in a more closely grounded way to the original trilogy than I think the sequel trilogy. And I don't hate the sequel trilogy necessarily, but it does feel so far removed, just timeline wise, from the original trilogy that it feels like its own thing. It feels distant, even though the original trilogy characters do show up. And The Mandalorian though is just set in that time, like right after Return of the Jedi, and so just the hype building for that for me rests mostly on Jon Favreau's shoulders, who I also love and respect because he directed the first Iron Man movie, which I adore.
And he was in the Daredevil movie.
He was. He's the original Happy. He's the original Happy Hogan. The original Foggy Nelson. He's great.
Foggy Nelson.
He. The more I learn about Jon Favreau, the more I see of his work, the more I respect him. But I love his. I don't know if you saw this movie. His Chef. Chef is one of my favorite movies. I don't know if he wrote it, but he starred in it and directed it. And that's one of my favorite things that he did. Mandalorian. Again, I love Pedro Pascal. All credit to really everyone that worked on that show because I love it so much. But Jon Favreau, I think, is the guy that I look up the most to when I think about that.
Yeah, sweet. All right, a few more. Again, this can be different categories. Just Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. So the first thing that comes to my mind is actually just fear, namely because, like I said, I'm a relatively young gamer. I've been playing for 3 years now, and I've definitely, expanded beyond my initial interests. To where before I was like before I played The Last of Us, I was like, oh no, I'll never play a horror game. Like I just can't handle it. I don't usually watch horror movies either. Like
Yeah.
it's just not what I'm interested in. I don't want to watch that kind of stuff sometimes. But I've been branching out more and more, you know, and being able to like appreciate it is really cool. Where the line stopped for me though was in all the games that I get recommended. One of them that got recommended very heavily was the remake of Resident Evil 2, which is a beautiful game. It's an outstanding remake, like really just rebuilt from the ground up. And I remember I bought it, I put it in the PlayStation, started playing it, played it for 4 hours, and the whole time I was just like clenched, like sweating, nervous and scared of everything. Not necessarily because it was zombie themed, but because what the Resident Evil games do very well is make you feel powerless. Like how in The Last of Us you can crank up the difficulty to have less resources and less weapons and less ammo. Resident Evil is just like that initially. Like you'll look to find like bullets and you can only carry so many, and then a basic enemy, like a basic zombie, can take 6 to 12 bullets to kill, and he won't even be dead. He'll be stunned. And so very early on, you realize like no matter how much ammo I get, I'll never be able to kill everything. And so you're always going to be in danger. You always have to look over your shoulder. You always are, in a state of fear, which is, I think, brilliant on the part of the developers, because that's what they want. They want you to feel scared. It's a true, like, I think The Last of Us falls more so in the category of survival action game than survival horror, because even when you're in trouble in The Last of Us, like Joel can beat the zombies to death with his bare fists if you really are in trouble most of the time. Like he's still a very capable and kind of powerful protagonist. In Resident Evil, you know, if you get touched by a zombie, you like die, you know, so they do a very good job of making you feel powerless and scared. And so I didn't actually get very far into the game before I was just like, I don't know if I'm having fun. I'm just being scared the whole time. So I may have to revisit it. Yeah. Yeah.
Are we
revisit it at some point, but not anytime soon. So
are we talking about the first game?
I'm talking about the second game.
Oh, the second game.
I've played parts of the first game as well. Also didn't finish it. You're seeing a theme. You're seeing a theme here. I'm starting the Resident Evil games and I'm not finishing them. Just I think they're very good at their job. At making me scared, because all the other games that I play, like they can be difficult, they can be punishing, but there's still, I think, a promise of like a power fantasy there. You know, where you feel capable and you feel strong and you feel like you can take on anything in the game. Resident Evil, I know that in the late game that happens. Like if you get towards the end of the game, you like get the flamethrower, and when you have the flamethrower, you can kill pretty much anything. But for most of the game, it's about being in those kind of nail biting, scared situations, and I can't do it. I'm the whip when it comes to that. So
I haven't played those games, so I don't know. I know about them, but I haven't played them, so I'm like.
Did you watch all the old Resident Evil movies with Mila Jovovich and
those are I don't mind the first 3 movies, and after that, I mean the whole franchise is a guilty pleasure for me.
Sure. No,
but I don't mind too much the first 3. Well, especially the first and the third. The second one, I don't know, it's a little iffy, but I own the whole franchise on digital. And I'm really considering in getting the 1/6 scale of Mila Jovovich from the third one, from the third. So it's in pre-order, and I might do it because I don't want it to happen what happened with Riddick. I was telling you earlier. So maybe I'm gonna try to grab it, even though it's not released until next year.
Sure.
But I had never played the games. Only watched the movies. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've played again the beginning of some of the games, and I haven't seen a single one of the movies. So maybe I just need to watch the movies, and maybe I can handle those
Oh,
versus
I see.
playing the
And
games
is
and
it?
not being able to finish them.
And now that you're telling me about these games, because I heard that the games are really scary, and I haven't played them, but I've been planning. It's just like I haven't done it yet, but
Hmm.
it's been in my mind. I've been just putting it aside and back postponing or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't. Was it this Christmas? I think it was this Christmas or this past Christmas.
Yeah.
We got the Oculus Quest 2,
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
VR,
The VR. It's so
and
awesome.
I know that they had the original Resident Evil,
Oh gosh.
and
Oh man.
I saw some of the gameplay on YouTube,
Yeah.
and it looks scarier because you have it right. You are in the
No,
game,
I can't even imagine. VR is
so I don't
crazy.
know. I mean, it's like 40. It's $40 the game,
Yeah.
and it's been what, 9 months now? September, yeah, about nine
Yeah.
months that I've been thinking, okay, I'm gonna try to get the $40 and buy the game. I haven't done it yet. I
Yeah.
think I will. I think I will, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like once I play the game and I'm in that world, and a zombie comes out and you are in the game. I don't know. I mean, I'm
Well,
just gonna
yeah.
get scared or something.
I imagine it's only 10 times more terrifying when you feel like you're in there and you're stuck in there in the real
Yeah.
world. Goodness. Not for me, man. No, thank you. Goodness. That's crazy.
All right. So let's see. What comes to mind first when I say Joker?
Joker. First thing is Mark Hamill, the legendary Luke Skywalker, but also the legendary voice of the Joker himself.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill is probably one of my favorite, I think, celebrities in general. Um, just because, again, not just because of Star Wars. Like, obviously, I'm obsessed with Star Wars, and Luke Skywalker is one of my favorite things to ever exist. Um, but yeah, all the interviews that I've seen with Mark talking about voice acting specifically and his time on the Batman animated series and on the Arkham video games, um, he just seems like one of the most genuine and down to earth people. Even though I think he carries he carries the status of like a true celebrity actor because of Star Wars,
Uh-huh.
even though most voice actors kind of have this kind of B-rate level of fame, because not everybody knows voice actors and not everybody recognizes voice actors, just because their faces aren't literally in front of us on the screen, right? It's just their
Yeah.
voice. Mark Hamill's different though in that he has the sort of world class fame because he was Luke Skywalker, but he still, I think, just carries with him just this air of humility and grace and just just authenticity that I find so incredible. And on top of
Mhm.
that, he's the most iconic voice of Joker we've ever heard.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, to this day, I still hear his performance of Joker in my head when I read any Batman comic or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mark Hamill's just one of my favorite things ever. But I love his Joker so much as well.
Nice. All right, one more before we wrap it up.
All right,
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. So funny enough, the first thing that comes to mind isn't a movie, but is actually an SNL sketch
Mm-hmm.
with Andy Samberg called "Get in the Cage" with Nick Cage, where he does his poor impression of Nicolas Cage and interviews other celebrities. But the
Uh,
specific one that always comes to mind is when Andy Samberg does his impression of Nicolas Cage, and the guest star that they have him interview is Nicolas Cage. And so it's pretty much Nicolas Cage just making fun of himself the whole
uh-huh.
time during the SNL sketch. And me and my buddies quote it to each other all the time. And it's just like Nicolas Cage is the best worst actor of all time and the worst best actor of all time. And my favorite thing about him is that he's kind of like aware of it. Like he kind of understands the like the just yeah, he understands, I think, his audience, because he's been in these like dramatic big movies, and he's been in these independent kind of over the top ridiculous films, and he's been in these other films where he just plays the most outlandish crazy characters, and yeah, like for whatever reason, like it just works. He just works no matter what he's in. Even though people could argue like he's not that talented or he's not that great of an actor. I still haven't seen his most recent movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is essentially him playing himself, making fun of himself, and I really want to watch it for that reason, just because it's
definitely check it out. I saw it only one time. I had a decent time. He's with Pedro Pascal in the movie.
I love Pedro, so I feel like it'll be a decent flick.
It's a decent time. It has some comedy in it, and I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if the movie's trying to be funny or not, but it's funny. So I don't know.
No, that's the thing. I think Nicolas Cage is aware of like that he's something of a meme, and so I like it whenever actors and celebrities are okay with making fun of themselves. I find that very hilarious and endearing. I think it's really cool.
All right, now, well, before we go, I know you have a YouTube channel. Is that right?
That's true. I do. I haven't done anything with it, but that's gonna change. That's changing very soon. I'm in the process of buying a PC, a big gaming PC, not for gaming, but mainly for like working on stuff, for doing video editing and video game reviews and live streaming and sculpting, and pretty much just a computer that is powerful enough and has enough storage that I can kind of do whatever I need it to do, essentially. And so, there's some plans, both with my Instagram and with my YouTube, to kind of go in a new direction, stepping away from strict customizing and going more into, more, I think, stuff like what you do, just kind of more content creation, more videos, things like that, reviews and things like that. I've come to really fall in love with a lot of content creators on YouTube in general, and respect a lot of what the time they put into it. And so, I was like, I think it's time to put my money where my mouth is, and just invest in it a little bit. So I'm very excited to, once I have my PC all set up, to really just kind of hit the ground running, kind of working and stuff. So even though my YouTube channel, which is Figure This Custom still, I may be doing a slight brand change. I may be changing my name or my handle a little bit. It'll still be similar. But yeah, I think hopefully I'll be uploading to my YouTube a lot more regularly, just because I haven't put anything on there in at least a year. So.
But I know you are very active on Instagram. That's where we met.
Yeah.
So anybody watching, give him a follow. I'm gonna put Noah's Instagram link down in the comments below.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, and you have you sell stuff too, right?
Yeah, no, I'm always selling stuff on my eBay page. If you go to if you go to my Instagram page, the link is usually just to my eBay page, where I'm always selling different collectibles and things that I either had and don't need, or just things that I acquired and stuff. And again, I keep all my boxes, so they're all in good condition. So stop on by the eBay page and maybe you'll see something that you like that I don't need anymore and you'll enjoy. So
there you go, guys. So now you guys know. So give them a follow on Instagram. Check out that link. I'm gonna put it down in the video description. So Noah, thank you for your time, dude. I mean, times fly, and I'm sure like we could keep talking for hours.
I could stay. I could talk about this forever.
Because we cover different topics, and there's still more things that we could keep talking. But it's Friday night, and I didn't get the entire day off. Only most of the day, but I gotta
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
work like in another hour.
No, yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Your time is precious between your work and your hobby and your family. So yeah, I appreciate the time you took to just chat with me. It was an absolute blast, and I was glad. Yeah, I was glad I was able to do it. So thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting. I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time and finally getting to meet you and in
Yeah.
person. Well, this is better than Instagram, but still,
No, yeah. It counts for me. It counts for me.
still counts. All right, guys. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Have a good day. Oh yeah, and
God
happy
bless you.
Labor Day weekend too. God
Yeah.
bless. Bye bye.